Hey everyone, my name is Jack, creative lead at Containment Media. If you don't already know, we're working on a feature-length Halo film called Pyrestorm, in collaboration with JumperScape Media. It's going to be a gritty, authentic take on the Halo universe with plenty of callbacks and ties to the mainline canon. And you can support us right now by heading over to our Indiegogo campaign and donating to help us make Pyrestorm a reality. Otherwise, please share it around to friends and family and make sure to follow us on social media so you can follow the journey with us. Thanks so much, and bye for now.
The Halo universe is filled with wonder, mystery, and fascinating discoveries around every corner. With so much to explore, four friends decided it was about time that they booted up their consoles and discussed this universe that has grabbed their attention since childhood. JumperScape Audio kindly welcomes you to join them in the library.
Hello everybody, welcome back to The Library, the show where we talk about Halo lore, and today we're talking about Halo 4.
The fourth one.
Halo 4?
Although it's ironically not like chronologically or even release-wise, the fourth one.
It's got a 4 in the name, so it's 4 to me.
To explain why Connor's mouth is full.
Sorry.
You're fine, you're fine.
Also, yeah, just go for it.
I don't know who because they keep on changing their names and I can never keep it nailed down. But one of our Patreon members, people have been doing this interesting thing where they keep on asking us to use their support cash to get food. And so this week we have KFC because someone requested it. Who? I don't know. He changed his name to use my support money to get KFC. Something along those lines, paraphrasing hardcore. But we have KFC. So if occasionally somebody is like, mouthful trying to talk, that's what's going on. But
I already ate all mine.
Wow, that was quick. We were hungry.
We forgot the Modelo's.
That's true.
We were supposed to get Modelo's?
He wanted us to also get a case of beer, but we were on a time crunch. If you guys want anything, there is Guinness upstairs. That's all up to you guys. But aside from that stuff, today we're talking with not just about Halo 4. We're also talking about and with our good pal here. He is, I don't want to try to introduce you because I am probably going to completely screw it up. So my friend, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, our lovely sponsor representative from ScionEsports.
No problem. You couldn't screw it up that bad. My name is Cory. Our organization is ScionEsports. I can't partake of the KFC from 1,000 miles away, unfortunately. But I would love to. But I'm excited to talk about Halo 4. I'll talk about ScionEsports as much as you want me to. We've been producing, in fact, it'll come up later, but our first Halo game that we produced the tournament for was Halo 4. So it's kind of special there. But we've been producing esports events in the southeast United States and southwest Louisiana, southeast Texas for, 12, 13 years. And we just have a lot of fun doing it. We're actually a car dealership. I'm the general manager of Lake Charles Toyota, and we spend a lot of our advertising budget on video games, on esports and things like that. So probably a little bit not normal for car dealerships, but we love it. It works great for us. It works great for our community. I don't know that people come in and say, I'm buying a car from you because I played in your Halo tournament, but we like to think that that's really the main reason why they do.
Sure. Yeah. And I'm kind of curious because, every time we have a guest on, I have to play 50 questions or 20 questions. Is it 20?
I have a question.
Oh, he has a question.
Do you guys have wacky waving inflatable tube men?
We don't. I love the memes. There's a comic about the dad and the son says, I want to be a doctor, and the dad says, you're going to grow up and dance naked in front of car dealerships, and that's the last we're going to talk about. If I can sit at the dinner table, and it's those blow up men, and I love them, but we've never actually had those. We try to, there's some things about the car industry that you want to double down on, and there's some things about the car industry that you want to shed and let people know that it's not like that anymore. It's, and that's those types of gimmicky marketing things is one of the things that we say, well, we're probably better off not leaning into that and let that be the past.
That's fair. Although it is very
sad. Even though I am sad about
it.
But there is some lament that goes along with not seeing the dancing blow up dancing sock men.
They're so good. Well, I'm kind of curious. about with your involvement with Halo 4 with the Scion Esports. Was Halo 4 the first consideration? Like, I don't know how long you've been around with Scion Esports, but was something about Halo 4 the thing that really led you to kick off Scion with that? Or was there something else to it, something more internal that was like, oh, Halo 4's got to be where we get our start?
Yeah, so ironically, we originally were a StarCraft production company. We did 2 StarCraft tournaments in 2011 and 2011 and 2012. I think no, it was 2002, 2011, something like that. Mm-hmm. But they were great. They were fun. But we ended up trying to do one in 2012, and we couldn't get any attendees. It just wasn't really catching on. It was kind of just wasn't doing that well in our area, and so we said, well, it was like in schedule for like third weekend in November, because it was always associated with Thanksgiving. We did it around Thanksgiving weekend. And in 2012, we couldn't get any StarCraft players. So 2 weeks before the tournament, we just changed the whole thing to Halo, because Halo came out like on November 10th or 12th or something that year.
Yeah.
And so we said, you know what? Everybody's really excited about Halo. Let's just cancel this StarCraft 2 thing. And we've always loved StarCraft. It's kind of near and dear to our hearts. But
yeah.
In that year, we said, you know what? Halo is big right now. Let's just switch this thing, and we right out from under the Facebook group and the website and everything. We just changed all the logos, changed all the images. Everything just became Halo, and it was great. And we had like 200 people. We did it in our dealership at the time, and we had like within just like 10 days to 2 weeks, we had 24 teams sign up, and
wow,
and like 250 people in the dealership there, and it was kind of last second. So we had played a lot of Halo, and we always loved Halo, but it never was like we weren't doing it as an esport. Until Halo 4.
So wait, do you guys host those esports things in the dealership, or do you have locations you go to?
We generally do about one per year in the dealership, because that's kind of one of the core things is we want to get people comfortable with Lake Charles Toyota. Come on in, come here and play a video game, so that when you need to buy a car, you're already comfortable coming here. So we used to do 2 or 3 a year. Now they've gotten too big to where we can't do as many. But we generally do one per year. We clear the whole showroom and set the whole thing for video games, and so that's we do that around Thanksgiving every year, and we do probably 2 to 3 other events like our last big Halo tournament was at the Lake Charles Civic Center. We also have where I'm at right now, which is the Game House that can hold smaller tournaments, and so we have several different venues that we use, but we do try to keep one per year at the dealership.
That's pretty sweet. That's pretty sick. Do you think that this is something that's actually working out really well for you? Like, are you seeing more of a younger audience showing up to a dealership that they probably wouldn't even consider otherwise?
We like to convince ourselves that it is. You know, we keep an email list and keep kind of in touch with everybody, but we try really hard to make it. You know, it started out as like this kind of guerrilla marketing indirect, where we're not trying to sell you anything. We're just trying to get you comfortable with us. And so it's really intangible. Like the benefits, we can't really say. We don't get prospects. We don't get leads off of it, you know, but it feels like we get people that come. We've got a couple of employees that directly were like, I want to come work here because y'all do esports, and that's pretty cool. We have a few technicians and even some salespeople that have come because of the esports, and we've got a couple of our content creators that we did a couple $100 a month sponsorships that ended up buying cars, and so we like to think that it makes a difference, and it's just we like to spend our advertising money. Esports is a big part of what we do, but there's other things that we do that are community focused and like experience focused. So like instead of running an ad, we say, can we serve a meal? Or instead of running an ad, can we buy out a movie theater and show a film? Or instead of buying an ad, can we host a video game tournament? So,
okay. That's pretty sick. I mean, as with us, as people who I would say represent the small time community rather well, I mean, having stuff like that is first of all rare. Second of all, super cool whenever it is there. Kind of makes me sad that we don't live like anywhere near you guys to go and check it out.
Yeah, a little far.
I want to go to the cool car dealership.
Connor over here is a car guy. He freaking loves cars. We have a whole Discord channel, like a forum for car conversations. And
for car guys.
Connor will frequent because he loves seeing what people do.
I probably check that way more than you would ever honestly think. What's new in the car chat today? Oh, nothing. 3 hours later, still nothing.
They're getting active. They were active today. I don't know if you saw it, but they were talking a lot today.
Nice. I'll have to go look. I know a bunch of them play Forza in there.
Yeah. There's a whole separate forum just for Forza livery designs.
In our chat?
Yeah, it's great.
I'll have to look at
that. There's cars, and then I think it's called car photography in the car game. Car game photography, that's what it is. Yeah,
Nice.
really funny. But yeah, I mean, it's our audience is strangely combined in that way, which just looks surprising. And before we move on to just talking straight Halo 4 for a second here, are there any of your players that you would like to give special recognition for that may have been playing especially well with the recent games that you guys have been doing? Because I know that you went to was it Fort Worth you went to?
Yeah, we've had a team. We had a team that played in Fort Worth. They played it. I think they're either in London right now, or when was the London one? Did the London one already happen?
I think the London one is coming up soon.
We have a team that's been playing all year. It's a couple. It's actually, ironically, I'm a twin, and we have two players on our team. They're twins, Yuzi and Zuzi, and then the other guys are Reverbed and Damio is the coach, and who's the fourth guy? God, I feel terrible. Dark Matter's the fourth guy, and they're all relatively new to us. This is their first season playing for us. A couple of them played in our big Halo Infinite tournament in 2022. That's how they found out about us.
Yeah,
we had a pro team back in 2016 or 2017 in HCS and Halo 5. That was some guys that actually played in our first Halo 4 tournament. A couple of them, two of them, and then two buddies that they had from out of state. And another guy that worked with us was their coach, and they formed a team and went and played in HCS in Halo 5 era. And they did okay. They got some points and won some games, but they didn't ever really do. Went to a couple events, but they didn't ever win anything big. Mm-hmm. So these guys that are playing now we're hoping that they'll do well. They get decent finishes. And it's cool for them to get to go and just kind of hang out in that environment, and we get to enjoy it vicariously. I haven't been able to go to any of the events with them, but it's cool to have somebody there and be able to enjoy kind of the first party feel of the HCS community.
Oh yeah,
then we can kind of just enjoy it vicariously. They send us pictures, and so it's pretty cool.
That's so sick. It's so dope to hear how people are being supported in this way, especially with. I mean, they're going to HCS. I mean, that's a big win in its own right. So that's fantastic. I love that.
Yeah, and these guys are just really passionate about the game. Like we're their sponsor, but we're only giving them a few $100s per event. Like they're paying their way to a lot of these events, and like we gave them jerseys and team passes in a little bit, but they're spending a lot of their own money and their own time and really investing in it personally. And so that's why it's been so cool for us to get behind them, is because this team they just happen to be wearing ScionEsports, but they're really a team that's super passionate about it anyway. You know, so that's we just kind of stuck our name on it, and it's been pretty cool.
Well, then there you go, everybody. Look up those players if you really want to follow what they're up to. But if people want to get connected with ScionEsports and see what the events are doing and how to get connected, where they think they can reach, where's the best they can reach you?
Everything.com/ScionEsports. So it took us a while, but we got everything aligned. The Twitter, the X, the Instagram, the Facebook, everything is youtube.com, facebook.com, discord.gg, whatever, /ScionEsports. And of course, the website is just ScionEsports.com.
Man, everything.com /. I want to do that. I want to steal that. That's a good.
Yeah.
pitch.
Well, early on, it was not that way. We had, Lake Charles Scion and ScionEsports and Scion Gorilla is kind of one of them. We had a lot of different ones. Man, it just got to be a disaster trying to keep up with what. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to take some time and re-authenticate into all these things and get all these names changed, and it's worth it in the long run.
It's so worth it. Well, fantastic. Happy to have you join us today. So Halo 4, how many of you guys here were a fan? And I'm talking like not saying now, because I think our opinions have changed over time. How many of you played Halo 4 for the first time and you were just like, oh, this game is awesome?
I don't remember the campaign.
Okay, that's you, Connor. But
no, I was a fan.
You were a fan?
I was a fan, for sure.
I had a good time when it came out.
I did not like the classes.
That's fair.
Yeah, I did not like the class
That's
system,
like the main,
and I never touched it.
It's like the main gripe of everyone playing. That's with Halo 4. MCC has done it justice.
Yeah. And Mr. Esports, did you have a preference?
Personally, I loved Halo 4 when it came out. I'm a big campaign guy. I'm a big lore guy.
Yeah.
I did all the required reading. That's a lot of people have that concern about Halo 4 is they had to read all that Forerunner stuff. I did it and loved it. I didn't play the multiplayer all that much. I don't really remember it. I remember not really liking the gimmicky stuff, the classes and the ordnance drops and some of the Spartan armor abilities that kind of changed the game. I just didn't like the feel of it. So I think they really knocked it out the park. I love the campaign personally. I know it's kind of divisive, but I just don't really remember getting into the multiplayer all that much.
Yeah.
As much as previously or since. Like Halo 2 and 3 grinded like crazy. And then Halo 5 and Halo Infinite grinded like crazy. I just don't remember what I was playing during Halo 4, but I don't really remember really grinding the multiplayer a whole lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a fan-ish. I was like 12 when it came out, though, so like I don't take my own opinion very, very much at all. But Halo 4, when it dropped, I didn't like the campaign too much because I just thought it was weird. But these days, I know why it's weird, and I love it for that reason. But me and Shane played the multiplayer all the time. It's the iconic start to to what we're doing now today, technically, if you really want to think of it that way, which I do. But aside from the initial impact, do you guys think that Halo 4 still holds up right now? Because we're talking vague and broad at the moment, because when we get down to the details, things are going to get a little bit wild, I think.
I mean, do you mean like it as a whole?
It as a whole, like as a game in the Halo franchise, do you think that it's holding up well against what Halo is now versus what it was then? That sort of thing.
It's for me, it's in like a weird spot. Like it added things like from the original Halo games, like new things that weren't in the original Halo games. But that doesn't mean like they were all good. Like it was definitely, they took a risk. Some of it worked, some of it didn't. I think the biggest deal breaker for me was probably just like, I don't know, like everyone said, like everyone hates the class system that was in Halo 4. At the time, I liked the campaign, but as the years have gone on, I like it much more. It's arguably my favorite 343 campaign that was released. And you can also make the argument it was probably the most finished and polished 343 game when it came out. Like in terms, like Halo 5 had added stuff late. Obviously, we know Halo Infinite added a bunch of stuff late, and there's still stuff in Halo Infinite that we don't have. And Halo 4 was at least like, say what you want about it, it was a complete and finished product.
4 is such a weird subject for me right now, where I think the story still holds up really well. I think the gameplay of the campaign is a bit tiresome in some places,
repetitive a little bit,
especially
the lack of ammunition,
and the AI. the AI is terrible, and multiplayer has never been my cup of tea there. But it's like the most casual Halo multiplayer. It's the one you can like really sit back and just kind of play without thinking.
I'm not gonna lie, I usually call Halo 4 baby's first Halo when it comes to the matchmaking.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much, it is the closest you have to Call of Duty Halo. Flashback to the April Fool's episode. Because honestly, that's how the multiplayer kind of felt. But yeah, it was a complete package. It still had problems, but I think a lot of those problems was it was just too much for the Xbox 360 to handle.
It should have launched with next gen. It should have launched with the Xbox, the Xbox One.
Because almost all of its issues were graphical and engine related, because the engine was getting overloaded.
Like me and Shane have talked about this before. I'm still wondering what that game would have looked like if they just waited one more year.
They could have waited one more year. They could have polished Forge. They could have polished custom games. There's so much they could have done.
Imagine how cool it would have been to have Halo 4 be the launch title.
How long a year used to feel.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of wild to think that it was a year between Halo 4 releasing and the Xbox One existing.
Yep.
Because it's like, that felt like a much longer space of time.
Looking back on it, it feels like a lot longer, but it really wasn't.
I don't like to think about the concept of time.
Yeah, sorry to bring that into the fold here.
No, but there was a grand opportunity just to let Halo 4 don't get me wrong, I think Halo 4 like is one of the best like graphically pleasing like games on the 360. Like I can't, I remember loading it up for the first time. I'm like, holy shit. Like it blew me away. And the fact they could have waited just a little bit longer to launch it with the Xbox One, and then also like, you know, just polish a few things here and there, get a little bit more feedback. Granted, like I said, Halo 4 was definitely in my mind, and I feel like it's common knowledge that Halo 4 was very like probably the most finished product that 343 put out. And it's just like you could have waited a little bit longer, launched it with the Xbox One, and then just made a few changes here and there. Like, who knows? Like, you could have like launched a few more like beta tests and like open lobbies for people to play, and they could have got feedback on the loadout system even more so than they already had. I mean, who knows? That could have changed. Like, the entire landscape of Halo 4 could have changed. Ultimately, I still like the game, but It's just I think like one more year launching it with the Xbox One was the right move. I don't see a point in launching it a whole year before the next console launch. It didn't really make sense to me.
Well, what about you, Mr. Esports?
I think the when you guys were mentioning it about I've never thought about the idea of delaying the launch of Halo 4 to coincide with the Xbox One, but I was realizing when y'all were saying that, I forget that Halo 4 was on the Xbox 360 and Halo 5 was on the Xbox One. I just forget that those two were on separate consoles because, you know, Chief has the same armor and they're kind of the same. They kind of play to get, in my mind, visually, that probably if I was to go look at them together, they would look significantly different. But in my mind, they kind of look the same. And so I forget that they were on two separate consoles. And especially with the cadence of games, I think, you know, if we'd have known, or if they would have known, well, it's going to be 2015 before Halo 5 comes out. It's going to be 2021 before Halo Infinite comes out. Maybe if we'd have done 2013, 2016, 2021, you know, that would have made a lot of sense. But I really think that they did a great job. I think you mentioned a couple times. I'm still trying to remember which one of you guys is which, but mentioned that it was a complete game. They released exactly what they meant to release. Almost. I mean, it's not perfect, obviously.
No.
It with its flaws and everything, they released almost exactly what they intended to release. And some of it fell flat, and some of it was successful. But it was kind of the last of the games that launched working, functional, complete, you know, on launch day. Now it's like, oh, your game's, it's just going to launch broke. It's going to be it's going to be a $69 beta test.
Yeah, basically.
Servers are going to crash when you log in, and there's going to be a bunch of DLC you have to get, and it's probably going to have a 10 gigabyte patch on launch day, even though you pre-downloaded the whole thing. So I think that there's a lot that can be said for that. About this game was a complete, ready for market, you know, presentation, which is awesome. And you at the time, we didn't know that that was going to be a huge benefit.
Yeah.
Like games were going to launch complete.
It was just like that was common practice back 10 years ago or so, like even longer, I guess 12 roughly, I think ish. It's just like you when you pay for a game, you expect it to be finished. And like, we didn't know a few years down the road, like half a decade, we'd be getting games that are like, oh, well, here you'll buy the game and then we'll launch it. And then, you know, you'll get this part of the game, you know, 6 months later, or you'll get this in this season, that in this season. You know, you'll have to wait X amount of time for Forge and Halo 5. Oh, it can't get any longer than that. Then we get, you know, the delay of Forge and Halo Infinite. While Halo Forge wasn't great by any means, like at least it was, you know, it was there. And I've seen people do cool stuff with Halo 4 Forge. And it was at least there. That's the big thing. It was there.
I'm going to have a hot take.
Oh boy, here he comes with the hot takes again.
I think part of the reason Halo 4 was so complete is if you really look at Halo 4 structurally, it is almost bar for bar Halo Reach with extra whistles.
It really is.
No, yeah. I don't even think that's really a hot take.
And I thought it would be hot, but I did not expect to be agreed with.
It's a little more like it's more like a medium low stovetop heat.
I mean, they basically 343 got a lot of flack for what they did with Halo 4 and like what they did with the Halo franchise, but they were literally just following in the footsteps of what Bungie left. You know, in Halo Reach, they added armor abilities. They kind of just expanded upon that. Like it does feel like a very, very like cut and dry, you know, Halo Reach. It feels very, very, like when I say feels, I obviously don't mean like gameplay, but just playing it. Like there's a lot of very like similar aspects. The only thing that's different is probably like no firefight and Spartan Ops.
I do love me some Spartan Ops, not gonna lie.
I do like Spartan Ops.
So here's the thing. I want to kind of dive directly into campaign because there's a lot to talk about. We can keep on kind of tiptoeing around what Halo 4 really is, but I think a Halo 4's campaign is legitimately the thing that set up Halo up until now. And it probably isn't even like I realized this. It's been there ever since the game launched that it was going to set up what we were going to be getting for the next 10 years. Because brief recap from me once again, basically Halo 4, at the end of Halo 3, we saw Requiem. James didn't know that you saw Requiem.
I forgot.
You didn't beat it on Legendary?
No, I've seen the cutscene. My brain just kind of went, oh, there's Requiem the last time that it happened. And I was like, was that always been there? I think my brain cuts off the cutscene like after Wake Me When You Need Me.
Yeah.
Like my brain only remembered up to that point.
It's just there's Requiem.
Requiem.
So he pulls. So Chief ends
somebody read the Didact book.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So, dude, Epitaph is so good. We'll get into that eventually because
The audiobook was really good. Wasn't it the voice actor?
Yep, it was
and I
key.
have him going,
and when he says it's awesome. I love it.
low key notification sound.
Those ayahs are so great in that book, and there's like 10 different versions of it. You know, there's so many ayahs, and they mean so many different things, and it's great.
Ayah.
It's so useful.
Ayah.
You can use it for grief. You can use it for surprise. You can use it for excitement. You can use it for anything.
It's just like the F-bomb.
Sure.
Thanks, Shane. You're welcome. So, anyway, Mr. Chief, if you will, is locked out there in space, and miraculously, his ship changes class entirely while it's out there in space. Must have been nanobots. Anyway. So he's floating above Requiem, and 4 years later, after he's stuck out in space, the Forward Unto Dawn film intro happens, and Cortana is gonna wake up Chief. Not gonna even talk about Forward Unto Dawn's plot. That's gonna be later on. But anyway, Chief wakes up and he's greeted with a new and improved looking Cortana, who is very much more human in her personality all of a sudden than she was in Halo 3 and Halo 2, and that of course is setting up for what's going to happen later with Cortana. And they fight their way out of the Dawn because it's getting attacked by the Covenant. Chief inaccurately says, I thought we had a truce with the Covenant. No, you had a truce with the Sangheili. That's different. The Covenant hated you the entire time.
Yeah, looking back on that was probably one of the dumbest lines in the entire franchise. Like, no, it was the Sangheili.
Yeah.
Or maybe somewhere in the lore there was an official ceasefire between humanity and what's left of what was the Covenant.
Pretty much dissolved.
Yeah, the Covenant went downhill. That's the thing. The Covenant shouldn't exist anymore, and I think Chief should know that. It's the Storm Covenant, granted, but I think they're only doing that so that we can keep calling them the Covenant.
He called them the Covenant too. Like he saw one elite and he's like, "Oh, Covenant," and it's like I thought the Sangheili were I thought we were good. Like,
yeah,
why
you got to go by the average player who maybe just kind of played the games each one time.
Right.
So that's probably how they're thinking. Oh, the Covenant.
You know, I'm not gonna lie. Whenever the Sangheili pulled up, I thought it was a evil faction right off the bat when I was a kid because they were just uglier.
I remember thinking, oh, they're dressed like when they first released the new models for the Covenant. You know, all of them, they called them the Storm Covenant. I was like, oh, they look like that because they're a different faction, so they have different armor. And even Cortana has that line, they're not outfitted like standard military.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so that's why they're dressed like that. And then 343 retroactively just uses those models for things that took place during the war.
Yeah.
On several occasions, not just to reuse models, but in comics and stuff too.
Yeah, I kind of wish that they stopped doing that because they did it again in Halo Infinite when they recreated Halo 4's ending, but Master Chief is wearing armor once again that did not exist yet, and Cortana has a design that once again she did not have.
It was don't forget the opening cutscene of the game.
Yeah,
and all the Spartans weren't canonically they should have been wearing Mark IV, and they were not wearing Mark.
No,
IV.
they were wearing way futuristic armor.
Even as a kid being 12 years old, I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
I didn't get it.
I'm like, wait, if this is a flashback to the Human Covenant War. And not what's happening in this game in Halo. I'm like, the Sangheili shouldn't look like that, and the Spartans shouldn't. Also, they should be wearing Mark IV.
Yeah, it's obviously a budget thing.
Maybe.
Well, the thing that's annoying is Blur.
It's a budget thing.
It's not Blur, but whoever made those animated cutscenes.
Oh gosh, what were they?
I guess it makes sense that they used the Chief one to save money, but I don't think elites even show up in any other form in those cutscenes.
At the end of the day, I hate the argument that for budget, Halo is Microsoft's baby. Like they have 343 was created for my
Granted, abused baby.
Yeah, yes. No, I
And granted, 3D modeling is very expensive.
The thing is,
you're talking like it's not Microsoft.
The thing is
it's
that
Microsoft. Like they can do it.
Would you be surprised if 343 went to Microsoft and said, "Hey, can we have this increased budget to make these different models for different time?"
Well, here's
Microsoft go,
they didn't
"Do you
need to-
have to?"
Right.
I guess not.
I guess
They didn't need to
Right.
make new ones. Is the thing.
Hey there, Halo fans. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with our friends right after these messages.
Right.
Like Halo Infinite takes Halo Wars 2 models from Blur. They just rip them and then make them for Halo Infinite. And the same thing can be done if you just took Halo 3 Elites and just upgraded the model a little bit and then threw them into an animation. They're all just models.
Yeah.
It's easy to change that. And I only know this because I work with Halo fan games that do this already. And it's like, if the fan games can do it with a budget of a nickel and some lint in their pocket.
I always kind of just chalked it up to laziness. That's kind of how I looked at it. I'm like, because they just, to this day, like you can like say it's budget, but it's just like if
Time
Microsoft-
constraint is probably more accurate than budget.
I'm getting so much deja vu from talking about
don't
Halo
know.
4's budget problems.
I think it's lazy. I don't think it was budget or time. They had literally years to make that game.
And unlimited resources supposedly, but
Yes.
whatever it was, could have been just straight up bad leadership. Could have been Microsoft just stepping in and just being like, well, that sounds dumb. Those old armors belong to Bungie, my ex-wife.
We need to sell toys, okay?
Yeah, like,
They probably wanted to distance themselves from Bungie.
Dude, listen, I know a lot of stuff about that. Microsoft really didn't want to have any of Bungie's DNA left.
No, I mean, I would have. Yeah, no, it showed.
Yeah.
It showed.
They wanted them out. So they were trying to distance hardcore.
Yeah, that's another reason that makes sense as to why like some things just really didn't make a lot of sense. And then don't get me started on the whole like nanobots.
Yeah.
That whole thing.
So the chief gets out of there and the planet just starts to vacuum him inside because it does that sometimes. And so they crash on the planet. Uh-oh, that's not good. And then Cortana starts glitching. Uh-oh, that's not good. And Chief is stranded alone. Uh-oh, that's not good. Which then leads to actually kind of the coolest reveal ever of the Forerunner structures that are currently online, which is probably the coolest part about Halo 4, is that you actually get to see Forerunner structures doing Forerunner things. To hell with people's complaints about art style. The art style, while shinier, it's shinier because it's been kept like it's
I
not
feel like
been
a lot of
abandoned.
people have a problem with the floatiness. I like the floatiness.
The floaty is great. It's cool.
I think they take it a little too far in 5 with the floaty bits, but Halo 4 was a bit more subdued with the floaty bits.
and it was so cool.
floaty bits.
All
how
the Forerunner stuff floats.
is floaty.
Oh
Yeah.
No, I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
But when Warding Eternal, like in Halo 5, like sprawls out into
The worst the worst boss in any game ever.
The Warding Infernal.
I cannot. He would every time he would. I'm not kidding. Like my first playthrough of Halo 5, every time he showed up, I would literally like not because like he was hard to fight, because he was so damn boring.
Yeah,
I like his lore now that he just was defending the domain and being a dick and not letting anyone in. Then he simped over Cortana for too long.
Next week is Halo 5, gentlemen.
Sorry.
I was gonna tie
These two games kind of go hand in hand in a lot of ways.
they do.
Kind of.
They do. I was gonna reel it back in, but go ahead.
Well, actually, Mr. Esports, I want to know, were you one of those folks that was absolutely awestruck whenever you walk out of that cave for the first time and see what the Forerunners really looked like while they were in their prime?
I think I don't remember that vividly. I do remember being like, okay, the game is starting now. Like that the whole part on the dawn. It's like, okay, well, it just feels like it's the previous game, and it's not. It's very much a prologue. But I definitely remember feeling like, okay, this is the game starting.
Yeah,
and I think the Forerunners, like, what you talked about earlier about Microsoft wanting to get rid of Bungie, and that was a lot of. I'm sure you're talking about staffing and internal stuff, but also like the story ended. Like like Halo 1, 2, 3, Reach, and also ODST are all the story of the Battle for Earth, the Covenant War, and not just the Covenant War, but specifically the Battle for Earth. Like those whole 5 games take place in like a month or whatever, and then it ends, and then 343 is starting a new story, and that new story is Cortana's descent into rampancy and the kind of the accepting of the mantle of by humanity, and then being able to activate all these Forerunner structures and see what the Forerunner's legacy is like when they weren't just abandoned structures, you know. So I think both of those things, which is really what, and I think 343 maybe didn't quite do as maybe in hindsight as good as they could have, really developing and leaning into that, but the Forerunners walking out there and seeing all those Forerunner structures, and within the same mission, also having Cortana, you start to realize something's not right with this, you know, with this girl. That's the start of the whole rest of Halo. And so I think that's kind of what it all hits you right there. And I don't know really that I realized that at the time. Like I said, I just remember this is the beginning of the new game. But looking back, it's like, okay, well, yeah, that's not just the beginning of the new game. That's the beginning of 343 Halo, you know? Yeah, absolutely. And it's nuts. I mean, it does set up a crazy reality of what Halo is going to become. You're absolutely right about that. Because I think people do have some form of point in saying that the Reclaimer, what became the Reclaimer Saga, it was the trilogy, but then they were like, we can pan this out a little bit more, which they shouldn't have done.
I gotta say, it's always remarkable how much the Reclaimer Saga and the sequel trilogy have in common.
I wasn't gonna say a thing.
I wasn't gonna say that. You know,
that's not good.
I'm not going there full time. I'm not even getting into opinions. I'm just saying the whole. It doesn't seem like they thought this through entirely before starting, you know?
I'm not going to get into opinions, but I'm going to give an opinion.
Well, I didn't say if I thought it was bad or good.
Fact. It's kind of a fact.
That's just a fact of how, at least definitely how the sequel trilogy was made. Because that's just well out there that there was, they tried to make it look like there was a plan.
The sequel trilogy is way worse than what we got for the
we never got the Saga. Real third game for the Reclaimer Saga because people got so mad about 5 and how it was.
Yeah. I'm sure you guys will talk about that a lot when you get to Infinite, but like it's almost like they skipped the third game.
Yeah.
You know, like they starting right here in Halo 4, it's clear that Cortana's descent. Do you guys say Cortana or Cortana?
We say Cortana.
Cortana? They say Cortana in the game? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I read so much, I say things in my head, and I'm like, wait, that's not how they say it.
No, that's perfectly fine.
The story of Halo 4 and Halo 5, and it's almost like it was the story of Halo 6 also, but they skipped Halo 6, and that's so disappointing to me because, like, Cortana's transition from, you know, I'm not going to say it's like from Anakin Skywalker to Darth Vader, but, you know, if it were, that's such a huge payoff to the whole development of the character, and they started in Halo 4, and it's like it builds and builds and builds, and then they skip it, and then like Halo Infinite starts, and it's, oh yeah, by the way, you know, Cortana became bad, and then we killed her, and now this new game's going to start. You know? Yeah. It seemed like they didn't really think a lot of it through, and it's confusing for many reasons because of that. Because it seems like what they were trying to do it seemed like they kind of changed gears after Halo 4's backlash. They were like, okay, we're trying to make something super mysterious, something interesting, something deep, something that will take you 3 books, a game, a movie, and some comics and Spartan ups to fully grasp it. And to be honest, I'm okay with that as someone who absorbs all of that content because I love being able to be like, oh, I love this. Where can I get more of it? Oh, I can get more of it over here, over here, over here, over here, over here. And then whenever I'm done, I can come all the way back to where it started and I understand it way more. It's always been cool, especially with Halo 4 and Halo 5, where their external content ties in really well back to the original piece that they were working on. They do a good job, and have done a good job of creating an extra bit of universe for you to explore that takes forever to really understand. It's right now I'm going through Cyberpunk 2077 again, and that city. There's so many stories. There's so many things to see. There's books that you can read.
Play Cyberpunk.
There's shows to watch. Like, there's a lot that you understand, and it's just one city. And so when Halo decides to get in on that, and they decide to expand on culture, they expand on the Forerunners, they expand on the characters, they give Lasky a whole origin story of probably the best movie they've ever made. There's a lot that they did, and that's why I love that idea so much. And then Halo 5...
Meanwhile, I'm over here just like keep it in the video games.
That's the thing. Keeping it to the video games is exactly how you limit a franchise as big as Halo. I understand why you want to put as much as you can into the games, and you should. You should. Halo 4, clearly you could play it without understanding a single thing. The Didact is a Forerunner. He's back. He's evil. That's all you need to know. Cortana's going nuts. That's all you need to know. Chief is a bandit. That's all you need to know. Lasky is a really cool guy. That's all you need to know.
Right. But I think what Connor's more saying is it is important to keep your story flowing in whatever your bread and butter media is. Like in a film franchise, you don't want to have to, you don't want there to be missing information because you didn't read a supplementary book. I'm not calling Halo's books supplementary, but they are.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I'm saying Halo 4 is a good example of how they didn't do that. Because Halo 4, you can play without any of the extra content. Didn't even need to watch Forward Unto Dawn. Lasky is still a great character.
Only thing I did was watch Forward Unto Dawn. I didn't read any of the books. I didn't do any research on the Forerunner. After the game came out, that's when I started. I still didn't read the damn books, but I still went into all the terminals and all the Easter egg. There's hidden messages, Easter eggs, this little lore stuff. YouTubers that were breaking this kind of stuff down. I still didn't read the books, but I going into the game. I knew I basically was going in blind. I watched Forward Unto Dawn. That's about it.
Yeah. And that's completely different from what they did. Let's give a good example here. Solid, probably the worst example I could think of. Halo Infinite. What do you need in order to understand Halo Infinite? It's not a book. You could read a book if you want to get a little bit of extra detail. Rubicon Protocol is literally all about the open world. If you read it, you could actually tie it back to places in the open world. Shout out to Halo Guy. No, if you really want to understand Halo Infinite, what are the Banished? Where did they come from? You got to play a game from an entirely different series in an entirely different genre that most first-person shooter players do not have the patience for.
Or read a book.
You could go and read the comics Rise of Atriox. You could read, let's say, Shadows of Reach and get your introduction to Escharum, which is where you first see him in Shadows of Reach for barely a second. But if you really want to get it, you got to play an entirely different game or watch all the cutscenes to really understand what Halo Infinite is doing. And that was a massive misstep.
I'll just watch a speedrunner.
To be fair, you can go through Halo Wars 2 and just watch all the blur cutscenes and a compilation, and then you'll kind of have the gist of it.
I know that, but it's still messed up. You got to do it because that goes directly against the idea. That goes with the idea that James had, that it sometimes seems like you need supplementary content for the most recent stuff they're putting out.
Which it's weird because you figured with a spiritual reboot, I put that in it. You figured you wouldn't need that kind of stuff. You know, you figured to be able to just jump in and I don't get me wrong. I like Infinite. I actually like the campaign. I don't think it was perfect by any means. I think there's a lot of problems with it, but I also think it did a good chunk of things right. And I like having the Banished as an enemy. Yeah. But calling it a spiritual reboot and then having to have all this background knowledge, it's a pain. I'm not a fan of that kind of stuff. Especially, I'm not a reader by any means. James and Austin are the readers. Me and Connor are just not really.
Calling me a reader is a stretch, I will say.
Yes.
He's read more than me. I will say that much.
Yeah, give me the sticks.
because of the thing. I love the game franchise, and they should focus as much as they can, most of their efforts, onto making the games good. That's how you're going to support a game franchise. But if you really want to play technicalities, the video games are an adaptation of the books, because the first thing that came out in the Halo franchise a year before Combat Evolved was the Fall of Reach novel.
I hate you for saying that.
You want to know why the novel was even written?
Because they didn't have enough time to write the entirety of the campaign, and they couldn't fit it in.
No, because they were making a game and they wanted to put that out there. Oh, so the novel only exists because the game was coming.
And that's the thing, is that it's still technically, they made the supplementary content first.
The loosest definition of a technically, where I know you were really reaching. But I'm saying,
but that's still my point, is that it's there. It's been in the DNA since the beginning. If you wanted to play the first three games in the trilogy, or the whole franchise, Combat Evolved 2 and 3, fine, do it. But if you read the 5 books that came out that were there, hey, there's 37 now. All right, you're on.
It's way too many. I'm not catching up. I'm so far behind.
So there's a book club in the Discord server for anybody who wants to catch up.
Yeah, I might stop by and say hi, and they'll be expecting me coming into the book club.
But there are 5 books that you can read, maybe 6 if you really want to, that will give you a bunch of information about what happened between Halo 2 or Halo Combat Evolved in 2, and what happened between Halo 2 and 3, and what happened a little after 3. There are books that cover all of that, including the beginning of the war. And that's all important. I think every single piece of this is important. And so Halo 4 doing what it did, yes, the story is very out there, but the game itself got plenty of love. It's fun to play. And the story itself, which I didn't finish recapping, now I'm thinking about it. The story itself didn't need any of the supplementary content for you to understand, because more importantly, if you really, really, really wanted to understand the Didact, terminals are right there in the game. Find them. Watch the cutscenes. You're not reading the terminals anymore. That was the biggest jump. You didn't have to read these messages from Mendic and Bias anymore. You're watching fully animated cutscenes of the Didact just straight up massacring the librarian's favorite people. And it's beautiful, and I want those back. I know that we love audio dramas, especially here. We're a big fan of that, but the animations are pretty cool. And I think a lot of us these days could go for like a whole TV show of that animation style, just kind of giving us a Clone Wars of our own. That'd be kind of sick.
A Clone Wars style Halo,
dude. Just like I'm talking like an external piece of media that tells you mini stories through the entirety of the Human Covenant War in the Terminals animation style.
Can it please be canon?
Right?
Can it please be canon?
I'm still of the opinion that a game like that would work.
I'd rather it be a game,
but
I would rather war stories game, basically just a bunch of mini campaigns would be so cool.
Let me be absolutely clear.
That's what I thought Infinite was going to be.
That sounds awesome, actually.
Let me be absolutely clear. I would 100% accept every single piece of supplementary content being a game. Well, maybe not every single piece, because Epitaph, how are you going to make that into a game? Rubicon Protocol, how are you going to make that into a game? It's most of the comics, how do you make that into a game? I'll take most of the franchise being turned into a game. However, with how they're being penny pinchers right now, it's gotta live with what you got. And you know what? TV shows, unless you go the route of how Disney's doing it, where you spend $1 bajillion just to make a TV show that could have been a movie for cheaper, even though they spend hundreds of millions of dollars on movies that they don't need to spend that much on. Anyway.
Halo 4, right?
I think it's because if Disney Plus fails, they're going to lose a lot of money.
You know what? Good.
Yeah.
So anyway, Halo 4, after the whole thing happens on the crash,
like to have fun here.
The Chief ends up going and trying to contact the Infinity, which is slowly coming into the planet, because they're like, oh my gosh, is that the Forerunner to Dawn? We got to find out if that's the Chief in there. And so he tries to contact it. Oops, woke up an ancient alien on accident, my bad. And so then the Didact is like, you are human. And then is upset at that fact. And so then
granted, he was debated into it, but think about it. It's all Chief's fault.
When ancient evil awakens.
It's Chief's fault that everyone in New Phoenix died.
He is responsible. He probably does feel responsible.
Yeah. Why do you think he's so depressed?
He feels responsible for every Spartan's death, even if he's not there.
What about like all the millions of other people that aren't Spartans, though?
Yeah.
I bet that weighs on him.
Every single one.
Why do you think he's looking out at the planet at the end all like, she said that to me once? Not because, wow, what a selfish man, Master Chief. You're only worried about your AI wife when you're responsible for millions of deaths.
If not billions.
Way to go.
So
we're getting real spicy today.
Chief is then tasked with tasking himself really to go and get in contact with the Infinity. He does that eventually, and the Infinity is like, yeah, we'll help you for a price. And so he has to help them take out the Didact. Doesn't go very well. The Cryptum is basically invulnerable. So he's like, I'm going after the Didact. And Del Rio's like, no, you're not. We're getting out of here. And he's
please let us go after the Didact. Whatever he does will be 100% my fault. I can't bear that responsibility. I'm towing this line to the end.
You really are. Yeah. You know what?
Cortana not making it back to Halsey is his fault too, then.
No.
Yeah.
It's none of this is his fault.
Without the Didact being released, they would have just left Requiem.
Listen, she thought it was a communications relay. You think he was going to know that?
You know, it's her fault too then, too.
It's just her fault. It's all her fault.
His hands.
What do you mean? She doesn't have hands.
No, his hands. His hands.
Anyway, he's being weird. I know. I'm just having fun with you.
I think I'm 100% correct.
No, not even a little bit.
People are going to thank me.
Don't remember me for this.
They will remember me. They will remember me. What are you, Braveheart? So anyway, Didact, he's all like, I'm going to wipe you off the face of this galaxy. And Chief's like, no. And so then they have a final confrontation after a lot of, cat and mouse chasing. And they end up at New Phoenix, above the planet anyway.
You just summed up the entirety of Halo 4 with a game of cat and mouse.
Is it not?
No, it kind of is. But it's just like, I feel like there's a lot more that happened in there.
Cortana goes a little bit more crazy. There's a mammoth at one point. And they have to get off the planet.
In the game.
Yes, it is.
Didn't even mention the librarian one single time.
I mean, she's there like one time and it's just like, I'm going to accelerate your evolution by 10,000 years. Wow. Does that mean that I'm going to look different or behave different in any way? No.
Your shields are just going to recharge and you're going to go, ah.
I was waiting.
Wait, is that really what happened? She like accelerated.
No, it was all a metaphor, Shane.
She literally
James, shut the hell up.
She literally forced his evolution forward 10,000 years.
Wow.
He should take off his helmet and he should be completely unrecognizable.
Well, we don't know that.
Bro should look like a fish.
Master Chief has gills.
Master Gills.
You never saw his neck.
Exactly.
You never saw his neck. Anyway. So they end up above the planet and Didact is like, you are too late. I'm already wiping out Arizona. Chief is like, that's fine.
It's my fault anyway.
No, it's not.
Last time I played it, I did kind of like not remember the fact that it technically was him who woke up Didact, not on purpose.
Yes,
but still, if you were in his shoes, would you blame yourself?
Would I blame myself? I mean, I'm a very interesting kind of guy. If I accidentally caused something horrible because I was ignorant, I'm going to blame my ignorance, not myself. Because why would I know? How would I know?
I'd blame myself.
He's hitting the hardest Emperor pose I've ever seen thinking about this.
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
So when the composer gets above Earth,
yeah,
isn't there like an entire like UNSC like blockade that's supposed to stop anything from getting through?
Gone.
Is that what happened?
Gone.
Okay. All right.
Forerunners.
Because I remember I remember.
Well, you can see the fleet like trying to do something.
Yep, it's not happening though.
It's just not working.
Best they can do is the Infinity with its massive supermax just firing, and then immediately the hole that they punched is sealed. It's just Forerunners were very much untouchable from modern humanity. So anyway, Chief is all like, this simple grenade will kill you. No, it will. And so then he gets thrown off the cliff, off of the bridge anyway.
It didn't kill him.
It didn't kill him. Just hurt a lot. He gets thrown into a subspace portal. Or let's not go into the supplementary content. He gets thrown into the composer and he's dead.
That's the thing that's so wild. Literally, he has an explosion inside his chest, crumples over limp, falls limply into what you can only like look at as a,
deletion ray.
Even if you didn't grasp what the composer was, a beam of something very hot, probably.
Mm-hmm.
He's dead. Everyone thought he was dead. He should have been dead.
And if you only play the games, he's dead.
Yeah, they Darth Mauled him though.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the book was really good, so it's okay.
I love how the only inkling you will have if you only watch the movies that Darth Maul lived is he's just suddenly alive in Solo.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't watch Clone Wars or anything else, you're just like, he's alive.
I thought about that. I'm like, there's probably people who've only seen the Star Wars movies, and then all of a sudden it's like, Darth Maul? Like, I'm sure there's plenty of people who went and saw that and were very confused.
I thought he was chopped in half. How is he here?
So After the Didact is killed, Cortana saves him somehow using magic. The real reason is she formed the hard light bridge around him so the nuclear blast wouldn't hurt him. But you only know that if you look at the separate supplementary content. It answers questions. It isn't required to know, but it does answer questions.
So if hard light can withstand the nuclear blast, why didn't they just make the entire ship out of hard light?
Well, the ship survived. It's like it's the control system got destroyed, so it fell apart. But aside from the control system,
What was all the debris then?
What was the most of the ship, basically. But the thing is, the ship deconstructed once you take out the control system, basically. So like the fact of the matter is the nuke is close enough to destroy the central intelligence that keeps it together. That's the only reason. But you can't make a whole ship out of hard light. That you need something to source the hard light from.
Well, it'd be like the creases in armor, you know? You'd have the weak points.
I think the control system would still need to be made out of something destructible.
They're forerunners. They can figure it out.
So anyway, Chief then has a nice, good old Batman brooding session on the ship. Lasky becomes the greatest character ever for leveling with Chief. And I love it. And then they completely ignore him the next game.
Yeah, he's just kind of there in Halo 5, and then now he's audio logs.
It's because he's such a damn good character.
He's so good.
It
He's
makes
just
me
like,
so mad.
our purpose as soldiers is to protect, but we have to remember we're people too.
And that's been the biggest problem through 343's tenure of original Halo games is they have like convinced themselves they don't make any good characters.
Basically.
I think, or they've let the community convince them that they don't make good characters, so they don't use the characters that people like.
And now I'm worried that they're just trying to throw them away ahead of time. Eshram dead. Jaga probably dead. It's like they're just getting rid of cool characters.
It's like, oh, well, his body disappears after you kill him. It's like, don't a lot of the camo elites do that?
All of them?
All of them? I might be wrong.
It's
but
just...
that's pretty... That does not prove he's not... He do be going... And then,
well, anyway, Mr. Esports, I know that we've been leading this conversation a lot. Apologies for that. But I do want to know your overall thoughts on Halo 4 story, how it handles characters, maybe even a favorite character. If Lasky ends up being up there, if somehow, I mean, I don't mind her, but Palmer, she's grown on me over the years. But what are your final thoughts on Halo 4's story, campaign, impact, all that?
I think the story's great, and I think 343 did a better job with it than they. I think one of you guys just said that they let the community convince them that the characters weren't good, and I think they did the same thing with the story. Like the story was good. Like the Halo 1, 2, 3 story is told. It's over. That's okay. Let's start a new story. Let's start telling a new story. And let's stick with it. And I think, Halo 4's multiplayer kind of fell a little bit flat. It wasn't really. It didn't really have a big long living scene. And Spartan Ops was good, but everybody said it was boring to play. And I think the casual they underestimated the. They overestimated the casual fans' willingness to really engage in the story, and then they kind of let the casual fans tell them by not engaging at the story that the story was bad. And I don't agree with that. I think it was a great story. I think it was the beginning of a great story, and I think the Cortana narrative is great. There's a lot of people that, again, I'm skipping ahead, but a lot of people feel like Cortana is this. She's your best friend, and she's the good guy from all the very beginning. It's not right to turn her bad, but I think it's great to turn her bad. I think her character arc is fantastic, and it really gets dynamic in Halo 4. Forward to the Dawn, fantastic, great, backstory for Lasky. I think Lasky's an awesome character. I don't really love Palmer, but you're not going to love everybody. You're not going to love every character. So I think it was. I love. I don't know that I would say that it's like my favorite Halo campaign, but I love all the storytelling in Halo, and I think Halo 4 is really good storytelling, and so I thought that the campaign was great. Awesome.
I think your opinions are probably going to be very well resonated with a lot of the people who listen to this show, so thank you for sharing. Well, with that, my friends, we've come to the end of today's episode. If you want to see more about what's going on this week and what we're talking about, Thursday, we're coming back for our community episode, and this time we're going to be talking about more than just what our community is doing. We're talking about stuff with Rooster Teeth, because there's some stuff to recap on that. If you want to support us directly, don't you dare skip this, Timothy. I swear, I see you reaching for that. Don't do that. Patreon.com/JumperScape if you want to get yourself some neat little goodies and also get involved with, I guess, the Council of Patreon names, as they've called themselves. If you want to join our community, discord.gg/JumperScape. Lots of stuff happening there. And we just hit 600 members, so that's pretty awesome. And if you want to help us greenlight new projects, that's at ko-fi.com/JumperScape. We just set a new record there, and so we've set our budget to go and greenlight a new project. So if you want to support us directly there, thank you, Connor. Appreciate that. Yeah. So if you want to support us there, you can go ahead and head over there. Otherwise, Mr. Esports, is there anything that people can look forward to coming up soon from Scion, aside from the appearances at HCS?
Yeah, well, we're really excited about that. We're also really excited about Stories from Waypoint, which you guys have talked a lot about on this show, obviously, because it's your production and it's really awesome. We're excited about that. We're kind of excited to get involved with Pious Dawn. That's gonna be pretty cool fan film coming from down under. and then other than that, if you're local, if you're within 100 miles of Southwest Louisiana, we would love for you to come play in some of our events. And otherwise, just get in touch with us on the website and let us know what we can do to connect. We'd love to connect with you guys.
Fantastic. Thank you, guys.
Hey, I have a suggestion. You need to make the Patreon support level commiserate with the length of name that you're allowed to have. So if you want your name to be 7 sentences long, you better be ponying up on Patreon. That's what I think you should do.
Oh, that's funny.
I mean, he might be spitting.
We'll take it under advisement. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, and hey, I want to be in the trivia. I want to be in the trivia contest one time.
Oh,
I'm not gonna be able to make it. Y'all have fun Thursday on the community episode. I'm gonna listen, but I'm not gonna be able to stay for it. But I want to be in the trivia contest.
Fantastic. All right, you got it. If you want to sign up, speaking
or quiz show.
Yep.
Quiz. What do y'all call it?
The Librarians Quiz Show.
Librarians Quiz Show. Yeah, I want to do that.
Yep. There's a sign up in our Discord, actually. In the Tarkov and Library content, there's a channel called Quiz Show Instructions. Just go sign up there. We'll get all of the names. We'll spin the wheel. And you might get to join us next week.
Awesome. I'm doing it.
It is funny thinking of it as a Librarians Quiz Show, because I'm just thinking of the librarian going, how many rounds does a needler have in a magazine?
We should just pull in an actress that can pull off a perfect librarian and just have her do the quiz. That'd be so funny.
Probably get an AI to do it. You probably just type a script and have AI read it in the voice of the librarian. It'd probably sound pretty good.
Maybe, but the good news for us is that we have access to so many actors and actresses, so we probably could actually pull it off pretty well. We'll have to see what happens.
I need someone who is free every Monday for 10 minutes.
The voice actors that you guys have pulled into Stories and Waypoint are really good. I'm not just saying that because we're financially supporting it. It is really good. The sound production quality and the voice acting is exceptional. So you guys obviously have a network of very talented people. I very much appreciate that. Our voice actors have recently showed up on Covenant Cannon's YouTube channel, actually. Another one will be showing up pretty soon. So yeah, absolutely get in touch with Covenant Cannon's content. And Stories from Waypoint, streaming on all platforms right now. So you can check those out as well. But aside from all of that, we'll see you guys on Thursday. Thank you guys so much for listening today. And yeah, thanks for listening. Again, I don't have anything left to say. Let's end the episode.
The library was produced and published by JumperScape Audio. Funding was provided by our fantastic patrons on Patreon. If you enjoy the show and wish to support JumperScape's future projects or get some sweet benefits, join our Patreon at patreon.com/JumperScape or become part of this truly special community at discord.gg/JumperScape. Thank you for your listenership, and we hope you enjoyed.
Hey everyone, my name is Jack, creative lead at Containment Media. If you don't already know, we're working on a feature-length Halo film called Pious Dawn, in collaboration with JumperScape Media. It's going to be a gritty, authentic take on the Halo universe with plenty of callbacks and ties to the mainline canon. And you can support us right now by heading over to our Indiegogo campaign and donating to help us make Pious Dawn a reality. Otherwise, please share it around to friends and family and make sure to follow us on social media so you can follow the journey with us. Thanks so much, and bye for now.
The Halo universe is filled with wonder, mystery, and fascinating discoveries around every corner. With so much to explore, four friends decided it was about time that they booted up their consoles and discussed this universe that has grabbed their attention since childhood. JumperScape Audio kindly welcomes you to join them in the library.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the library. Shane wasn't ready.
Yeah, put your headphones on. I'm sorry.
The show where we talk about Halo lore on Tuesdays. Now we're on to our community episode on Thursdays. Woo! First and foremost, if you want to support us directly, patreon.com/JumperScape. That's where you can get some sweet things for yourself. And if you want to greenlight shows, that's on ko-fi.com/JumperScape. If you want to join the community, that's discord.gg/JumperScape. I'm getting really good at that. Like, I can rattle that off.
What ow?
I'm waiting for
What?
I'm waiting for you to get to the point where you can say it all in less than a second.
You're saying I'm Eminem?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, really push yourself.
I mean, here's the fun thing. The reason why I'm so good at rattling this stuff off is mostly because I was an employee at Subway as my first job, and you have to remember all the cues for that. So it's like, hi, welcome to Subway. What kind of bread you getting? And we got Italian, wheat, oat, all of that stuff. And then it's like 600 foot long. Okay, cheese, cool. We got American shredded cheddar, pepper jack, and provolone. It's like you gotta remember all that. I still remember all of it. I hate it. And then Verizon Wireless. I mean, you're a salesman at Verizon Wireless. You got to remember all sorts of scripts.
Yeah, when I worked at a gas station for a year, my favorite phrase was always, "Let me get the manager." Dude, I would deal off with some pissed off truckers. Like, some of those guys, some were really cool, some were. I'll say no comment. I'll support the boys, but darn, I did feel a little hurt sometimes.
Well, today we're going to be talking briefly, really, really briefly, because this is a important topic, at least to me and James, I think the most.
Oh,
yes. But we will get into the Patreon names, reviews, and all of that afterwards. Rooster Teeth's gone.
they're gone.
Like completely.
I did see their like the final minute of the episode.
I haven't watched it yet.
All right, never mind.
Wait, you already see it? You already seen it?
I saw it on Twitter.
Oh, you skipped the entire thing and watched the last minute?
No, someone uploaded the last minute.
Don't you mean X?
And then you chose to watch it.
Sure.
Oh,
Shane,
no.
Shane, don't you mean X?
I mean, I still haven't seen Godzilla X Con yet, but I've seen almost every fight scene via Twitter.
I just avoid those pieces of the internet.
I'm chronically online. I can't.
I have to fight to not be chronically online. I hate the internet so much.
Me too. I hate it. It makes me mad every day.
Yeah, that's why I just
Every community I'm part of pisses me off.
Yeah, I just keep my the only time that I'm on Twitter is when I need to post something, and that's basically it. Otherwise, I keep it to my local communities if it's on socials.
Yeah,
it's much better that
Gaming
way.
communities are just like they're weird.
Helldivers is awesome.
I love
Helldivers
is great.
You guys want to know what I've recently discovered is the most toxic online community I've ever seen in my life?
Team Fortress 2?
Minecraft.
Roller coaster enthusiasts.
Huh?
What?
Like Planet Coaster?
No, like real roller coasters.
Oh, I thought you were still talking about games.
No. Most like spoiled babies you'll ever see in your life.
I only felt 9 G's on this turn.
That's actually illegal.
I only felt 6 G's on this turn.
That's actually the legal limit.
Oh my god. There you go.
Only, I think, about 1 second.
I only felt 6 G's.
But yeah, shout out to anyone who listened to last week's Terminals. Me and Ashton talked about roller coasters.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Thuzies out there, chill out.
I think I might have sent it to you on TikTok. There was a guy, he goes to all like the major amusement parks in the United States, and he sees how long he can stay inside the park after it closes. He stayed in Cedar Point for 2.5 hours after it closed.
I've seen that guy. He mainly does arenas, actually. He did the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse ones.
I think it's
the same guy.
Is it the same guy?
Yeah.
Interesting.
He did Cedar Point, and here's the thing. He's walking around in just a hoodie while everyone's trying to close up. They're probably just, you know how many people work at these parks? They're probably just like, that guy works here with us.
No, it's like you could probably work on like one part of Cedar Point, like the far back, like the western area, and like not even know anyone who works there if you work at like Gatekeeper or Raptor or something like that. Because it's such a massive fucking park.
Yeah, and the thing, there's people who work at like random food stall number 7. Like, there's
the
so
overpriced
many,
Subway.
Exactly.
The overpriced
like,
Subway number 4.
So you could probably, like, especially if you wore like a Cedar Point hoodie.
They probably thought he was a worker.
You could probably just walk around until security leaves.
Or they were probably like, we don't get paid enough to tell this guy to leave.
That too.
Just carry a ladder around with you. That's all you need.
Because one
Legit.
time when I went with Ashton, we waited for Steel Vengeance at the very end of the night. And by the time we got out, the park was literally empty.
Wow.
And I took a couple detours because I was like, I want to see what this part of the park looks like empty. I want to see what this part of the park looks like empty.
Was it scary?
Oh, it was honestly really creepy.
That's one of the first things that guy said. He's like, I don't know why, but this is insanely creepy.
It is. It's because it's a liminal space, essentially. Mm-hmm. This is a place that should be infested with people, and you're seeing it completely
deserted,
barren, empty.
Yeah.
And it's just way too quiet. That's the other thing. It's way too quiet. You'll hear maybe like an off like power washer in the distance, but that's it.
Or one of the animals in the zoo area. One of the goats or the ducks.
Quite a detour. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you're all fine. You're all fine. My 5 cents on that one. The best community I have ever interacted with and continue to interact with is specifically film and anything really related to film, but specifically those who work in film. Those guys are fantastic. It's always constructive, always like, this could have been better, instead of, this is terrible. I hate you for being alive. It's always different. And so, like, basically what I'm saying is LinkedIn, best social media I've ever interacted with.
I love LinkedIn. LinkedIn is great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Discord communities that I'm in that are just film buffs.
LinkedIn is like educational, like Instagram or Facebook. Like LinkedIn is super nice if you want to, like, for your career. It doesn't matter what career you're in. I highly recommend creating a LinkedIn.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, follow me and Shane on LinkedIn.
I mean, I guess that maybe
It'll be funny.
Speaking of communities, I have to say my favorite community I've been a part of has gotta been the JumperScape community in our Discord.
Oh,
what a sap.
Okay. So I want you guys to hear me out. Okay.
Yeah.
I want you guys to hear me out.
Yeah.
The best. I guess not the best, but one of my favorites. It's toxic, but at the same time, it's not.
Siege.
The Siege community, depending, I mean, despite our experiences in rank that we had 2 weeks ago, those guys, complete shitters and so toxic. But the Siege community is good. Like, I've talked to some of the most chill people. Like, I went a whole game probably about 2 days ago. I think it was like Saturday morning out before I went to the game.
Yeah.
I was playing a little bit I was solo queuing ranked, and I queued up with a whole nother 4-stack, and I queued up with them and played a few games, and they were all cool as the first game because everything went well. But the minute things went bad, like all their guns, I'm literally second on the leaderboard. All of them just right at me, pinning the blame on me immediately. As soon as we lost like 4-2. Immediately started blaming me, and I was like 7-3. I'm like, there's no fucking way.
What was their basis for blaming you?
Like not setting up the site the right way, not holding an angle the right way, not droning properly. Like basically like the typical Rainbow Six, blame
the
game.
ones where they forget that they were the ones that died.
Yes. Don't get me wrong. Other people can get you killed, but like, I think I would own up to that if I did. because
do.
I've been trying to find people to like play it with consistently, and it's like I try to be on good terms with people. But like the first game, clean sweep 4-0. I went 5-2. Top Fragger won like 8-2, and then the other guys were like 3-4, 4-4, like playing the
Shane
role.
got too good at the game, so he can't play with me and Connor anymore.
They get upset if they play Rainbow Six with me, and it makes me sad because they get sad.
And he keeps trying to convince me to play it with him.
Well, this season it's definitely too late. There's like 30 something days. You guys,
Me and Connor just don't belong in Shane's lobbies.
no, I always
And then we just get like harassed in the DMs after a game because me and Connor like 1-7
it's
each. Like
you basically. I'm not kidding. I've gotten in the habit of at the start of every game, open up the scoreboard, block the entire lobby. I'm not kidding.
That's funny.
I do that almost every game unless they invite me to a party.
if I lose it, if I get my ass beat in Madden, I will block them before I.
Oh,
quit
Madden's
the game.
toxic too.
Yeah, literally this one guy, he started talking in game chat, which is rare. And at first, like he's just talking to like his son or something, and then like I threw an interception, and I've never had someone talk bother me so bad. He's like, "You trad," blah, blah, blah. I just started going, and then like every time I would line up, he's like, "Oh, what do you got now? What play you playing?" I'm like,
That's actually funny. I'm sorry. He was in your head. He was playing mind games
so
with you.
I've never like. Here's the thing.
It was
I've had people talk
psychological warfare.
talk garbage. Is that allowed?
What?
Is allowed?
No.
Okay. I've had people talk so much like to me in games before. Like it's just part of playing multiplayer games.
Especially in this day
guy
and age.
just was eviscerating my life. I never even said a word. For all he knew, I couldn't even hear him.
Yeah.
So like,
No, those guys I was playing with.
then
It's
his
just like
kid would start crying and be like, "Shut up."
it's
I
like
may have made that up in my head that was happening, but he did yell at his kid.
it was like those guys I was playing with. Like I said, the first game we had a clean sweep, and like we were feeling ourselves, and like we were hyping each other up, and like no one was like yelling. Even when someone died, everyone's like, "Oh, my bad," but it's because we were up. Like everyone's like, there was accountability is huge in that game. Everyone's like, "Yeah, that's my fault. I should have did this. I should have that. I should have been watching this for you." But the next game where we got like absolutely mollywopped, like it was like a free for all. Like three of their best players were like immediately on my ass just because like they knew each other in real life. They didn't know me, so they immediately started blaming me. I just basically said, "Okay, I'm out," and I just left.
This is why I've adopted the old man mindset of I'm playing game for fun now. I don't care about competitiveness anymore.
Here's the thing, like
I like winning, but at the same time, not at the cost of my
your mental
sanity.
health.
Yeah.
No, it's just like there's. I have fun playing Siege competitively. I do. But it's just like I can make the argument that you can play Siege more casually than you can play Call of Duty casually at this point. Siege
That's fair.
Siege quick play is like super, super casual.
I want to enter. He got me in game chat status.
Oh, he got me.
Oh,
You know, every boomer who's on the mic.
Yep.
Just, that guy got me.
After you, that's why I don't ever initiate talk, because there has been a few times in the past where I've killed someone in Siege, and like when I was like when Jinxie like really first started blowing up, I would like after I'd killed him, I'd send them a message mid game and just say slammed or some stupid shit, like just to be petty. And then like it just, I remember there was one time I was playing Call of Duty and I had that. This guy was playing with his dad, and I literally had that same, like a very, very similar situation. His dad was like, "Oh, he got me," but I'm like, what have I become? What have I done? I'm like, I can't. I muted my entire game chat. I'm like, I can't just live with that on my conscience anymore. I can't.
so y'all might look at me differently for this.
I really do.
All right.
Honestly, nothing you can say will surprise me.
All right. So back, I mean, it's still popular now, but every now and then I just pop into a GTA 5 server and just go through the server, see if there's any kid with a mic on just sitting there, like kind of annoying the lobby. So anytime I would find that kid in that lobby, I always make it a point to go up to him on my oppressor and just ruin his day for as long as I can.
Is that the motorcycle with
Yes,
the
it is the
rockets?
motorcycle with the
Yes.
rockets.
Yes. And The reactions.
You remind me of that one guy who does the Among Us VR videos where he just screams at children.
Dude, Among Us VR is a glorified daycare. It is literally 6-year-olds playing that game.
I kind of want to play.
No,
it.
I want to
it.
try.
I have
a
a
headset and I want to try it.
I have a Quest. I can play it.
So, James, when are we going to watch the last season of Red vs. Blue?
Whenever.
Because, like, I'm down. Probably not tonight because you need to rest.
Yeah, I'm very tired.
But, like, maybe, like, tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm very tired.
What?
I don't know. Well, I have 237 tomorrow.
Yes.
Plug.
But
Well, actually, tomorrow, I guess it is coming out tomorrow when you're hearing this, but I'm also recording it tomorrow. So that fun how that works out.
Actually, maybe not tomorrow because we're going to go see Phantom Menace, right?
Yes.
You guys are all coming, right? 10 p.m. tomorrow, Phantom Menace.
10 p.m. I might be able to.
You want to know why?
D-box seats.
D-box.
I have to.
I have gone to see it in theaters twice in the last week because of the D-box seats.
What's D-box?
They're the ones that
moving
move,
the seats that move.
that vibrate.
They have moving and vibrating
The pod
seats?
racing, dude. I'm sitting there. I'm just like, now this is pod racing.
I get to see Saboba in 4K?
Yes. What?
Hey, trust me, he ain't
You can anyway.
On the big screen?
He's not. I was gonna say, he's not.
He
much
might
to
be
look
in
at.
4K, but I don't think his textures are.
No. For Phantom Menace, the best way to watch it legitimately, because for some reason for the re-releases, they changed the coloring, they changed the VFX quality, they changed the resolution, all that.
The VHS on a CRT.
Yeah. Actually, like the coloring is better. The blending of the VFX is better.
Well, that's the problem with watching old movies, especially older movies with CGI on new TVs, is it makes the CG look way worse.
And they changed the colors for some reason.
I
don't
will
get
say
that.
Jurassic Park holds up phenomenally
Thanks, Dark.
for being not all of it.
Not all of it, but
Okay, like think the Brachiosaurus at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
That's during the day. A T-Rex when he comes out of the woods and he eats the Gallimimus. That's in the day.
yeah.
Like there's CG today that looks way worse.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel.
Yeah.
I will say, I haven't seen the Phantom Menace, and like I haven't like watched it on my own, and I'm probably not even kidding. Probably like 10 years, or if not more.
There were some PS2 ass landscapes in that movie.
Oh my god, yeah.
But it's so
Coruscant-
good.
I will say,
There's this one shot of Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan when they're on a balcony on Coruscant, and the backdrop looks horrific.
yes, yeah.
Like, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like when the sun's setting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The speeders going by literally look 8-bit. I'm like, oh no, this is rough.
But as a movie though, Phantom Menace, like for a long while, I got a lot of hate. I think it's genuinely a good movie.
It's genuinely my favorite of the trilogy.
Is it really?
It is.
That's wild.
Dude, the fight scene at the end with Obi-Wan
I
and
don't blame
Qui-Gon
this
and Darth
opinion.
Maul is amazing.
I don't blame you.
The pod
I
race is
disagree,
awesome.
but I don't blame
No,
you.
I,
Cool. It's a good episode, but episode 3.
Episode 3 is great.
I feel like
It's-
everyone can agree that Attack of the Clones is not the best one.
No, never.
No.
And it shouldn't be for anyone's favorite.
I'd say Attack of the Clones is probably the second for me out of
Attack of
out
the Clones
that 3.
is like when you were a kid and go to a birthday party and you get one of those party bags and they just put way too much glitter in it.
yeah.
Like you're like, thanks, cool. There's too much glitter though.
See, the thing with Phantom Menace for me is that I just like the 99 aesthetic of Star Wars. Like the lightsabers, I think, in Phantom Menace are my favorite design. They
I
have a
actually agree
unique
with that.
look. They have such a unique, beautiful look in 99.
They're like a perfect blend of like the like late prequel trilogy
Mm-hmm.
and like the original trilogy. In
Yeah,
terms of how they look and are presented.
And a lot of the sound design is beautiful. I love whenever the Naboo guard gets the drop on the droids when they're back at the palace trying to retake it, and they fire that one time, take out the tank, and all the droids are like, and then they start firing. All of a sudden, the music kicks in. You're just like, I'm ready. It's so good.
I think for me, I think the whole situation on Tatooine went on for way too long.
Yeah.
That's my biggest
Tatooine
gripe with that movie. It just
drags.
it drags on so. It's just
but the pod race is a good
I will
payoff.
say
No, it is.
everything on Tatooine is at least more interesting than the Coruscant stuff. 'Cause
Yes.
the
Literally
Coruscant
nothing
stuff
happens in
is
Coruscant.
So that's where the movie starts to drag.
They
for
show
me
they show
personally.
up just to go back.
Yeah, they show up just to basically set up the Senate
It's basically
and the Jedi Temple.
Lego
exists.
Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga is basically just the Phantom Menace on repeat, because with Skywalker Saga you have to fly from planets to get cutscenes and then fly somewhere else for the mission.
Hey, let's not forget a masterclass of a character. Watto.
Yeah.
Doesn't
It's you, Benaya.
You know, and what
Annie.
Young Annie.
this
Shane.
might not be true. This is coming from like a deep memory. Like in a comic, doesn't like Darth Vader go and kill him?
Yeah.
Based.
Yeah, he went back and killed
Doesn't
the
he
guy
just
who
kind
sold
of
his mom
randomly
into
come
slavery.
across him though?
I don't know if it was random or not. I don't know that part. Like I was a Star Wars kid before I was a Halo guy. That's an important thing to know about me. But
There is a comic where Vader, I don't know if it's canon or not, where Vader finds the what's Greedo?
the Rhodian.
Oh yeah, finds the Rhodian and that other like human kid all grown up.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Does he kill him?
No.
He finds Warwick
He actually
Davis in a
saves
Rhodian
one.
suit.
He what?
What?
What did you say he does?
He saves
what?
them.
Oh,
There was a colony of Tatooine slaves that like were freed, and I don't know why he went there. I just saw a YouTube short about it. But basically, they get attacked by some squid dudes, and Vader saves them and stuff like that. And
Vader
like,
wasn't full bad.
Vader just be doing side quests sometimes. I swear. Oh, and he gets in a pod racer.
Oh, that's cool.
So there's a literal comic image of Darth Vader in a pod racer, and I just want to think of him just going, "Now this is pod racing."
I mean, that's kind of sad. That's extremely
really
sad.
I mean, Darth Vader's story is nothing but.
No, it's tragic. His whole like don't get me wrong. Like he's done some horrible.
Yeah,
like
I try not to lose sight of how horrible of a being he is.
No, he's a terrible but it's like it's borderline not his fault.
Yeah,
See,
the movies don't really. The thing is, if you just watch the movies, you're like, Darth Vader, bad guy.
You gotta
But
know
when
a
you
lot of
know
the
the
lore.
lore.
You gotta know-
he is a genocidal maniac, essentially.
The thing is that like I
What does he do in movies? Choke some officers sometimes. Like
Yeah, I like
and
it.
say, I'm evil.
I like in Star Wars where like promotional material, especially because I don't know if it was fan art or not, but when there was poetic stuff going on, whenever I first went to go see it last week, because I said I watched it twice so far. The first time I went there with David, and he reminded me of that promotional pic of Anakin walking through the desert, like through his town, and his shadow is Darth Vader's shadow.
Yeah, that's a real promotional.
I love that shot a lot. Because that's a really sad reminder. You're seeing this little kid, super innocent. He's gonna grow up to do a lot of bad
Poor
things.
Jake Lloyd.
Yeah, actually, straight up. Although let's clarify real quick on that. It's been clarified that the stuff that came after the movies, all the bullying and stuff, is not the cause of his condition right now.
No, but I can still feel bad for him.
No, you can. Yeah, of course.
Well, because he's schizophrenic, right?
Yeah.
Then yeah, bullying's not gonna cause schizophrenia.
There was some rumor going around for a long time that it was.
But it did completely destroy his confidence, and he was terrified of even talking about Star Wars. He
Yeah.
still probably is terrified about talking about Star Wars. Like,
I think that the atmosphere has changed. Think about Jar Jar's actor, who
I know,
legitimately
but Jake
almost
Lloyd-
unalived himself.
I don't want to get too much into something I don't know much about, but he's schizophrenic.
Did y'all see?
Paranoia is the biggest part of that.
Yeah.
He's probably never even going to take that chance.
Yeah.
Speaking of Jar Jar, I think somewhere with Lego Star Wars, I forget where, they're actually running with the Darth Jar Jar thing.
Yeah, it's an alternate universe thing. Something happens and they have to get the universe back right. It's a new thing they're coming out with.
I'm pretty sure they also said the original voice actor for Jar Jar is also voicing Jar Jar.
Yep, he's coming back because he's got the confidence back. People are not treating him like garbage for being Jar Jar anymore. Anyway, so Red versus Blue.
Point to Gen Z / millennials.
Oh, yeah, this
Gen
is-
X was really mean to Ahmed Best, and he almost
Unalived himself.
yes.
We're
a Halo podcast.
Yeah,
guys.
I'm trying to get us back.
Sorry. I'm sure people will enjoy this.
It's a community episode. We talked about Halo.
We're a little loosey goosey on the community.
So, Red versus Blue. Are we like for this watch thing? This is gonna be the last thing they do, right? Like this is it. And now that Red versus Blue is out, that was the last thing that they're gonna be doing, and now their doors are closed. They're not going back in. But the thing that I'm kind of wondering, Red versus Blue is technically it's done, but the IP is now up for sale.
No. No.
Let's buy Rooster Teeth.
Buy Red versus
Connor,
Blue
we can't afford it. It's probably worth millions.
because like Ruby is up for sale right now, which makes sense. That show's not done.
That'll probably get sold in made.
Probably.
I'm sure Red versus Blue. Honestly, 343, could you buy it?
Oh, that's not a bad idea, actually.
I don't know who else would.
You know, somebody stupid.
But like they ended it, right? I have not seen it
Oh,
yet.
come on.
But from what I've heard, it's pretty much a good ending and it's over.
Yeah.
So I guess you'd be getting it to maybe make side stories or merchandise or just trying to, but you couldn't really merchandise Red versus Blue.
You could.
you?
There were,
Without Halo's like consent.
But yeah, that's the thing. Red versus Blue did have the consent from Bungie back in the day, I think, to do merch. I'm pretty sure. And they might have had it from 343 too, since they were in Halo 4 technically. As like
Rooster
cutscenes.
Teeth definitely had a good relationship with 343. To the point of 343 to like literally just being like, we'll give you guys everything like unlocked wise so you can make the armor look right.
Here's the thing, right? I really like it when franchises interact with like the one of the high points of the community, and it's one of the reasons why I'm working so hard to make JumperScape a bigger deal. Because thinking about it this way, Battlefield friends. Halo, Red versus Blue. Red versus Blue is gone. There's a vacancy.
We can fill that gap.
I listen, all I'm saying is their name has 3 syllables. Our name has 3 syllables.
That's Academy the Elite needs his spotlight.
I should start writing.
You should. There's a lot of potential for what we could do. It's just at the moment our creativity is limited by how many hands can work on the stuff at once.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of James, sorry that Fontage didn't get finished like I was hoping.
It's okay because you can view it now because it's out.
Now you're gonna pressure me like
Pressure's on, buddy.
Okay.
or he can just cut that from the episode.
You know, he could.
M key.
If you do happen to finish it by that point, it'd be really funny to keep in. But if not, just you take it out.
Yeah, you got it. So we're just gonna jump over to the Patreon's portion of this.
Oh boy.
Just make it so that we get to this stuff because now that we've gotten all that conversation out of the way.
Do we all have our Bibles ready?
Which I should note for everybody
Did
listening.
I miss something? Do I need a Bible?
No, it's just I'm scared to see what they change their names to.
For those who are listening, give us some feedback. I'm actually genuinely needing some feedback on this. The community portion of the show, I think, needs some more conversation like what just happened. So feedback. Let me know what you think about that whole idea. Even if it's not specifically Halo related, just feedback. Give us some, please.
Do you like us just to go off the rails and talk about whatever we want and then read names?
I feel like that's what's got us this far. It's just you know, it's nice that like we talked about like other, not just I guess other games in particular what we did today.
Yeah, we can
Just
always
like,
relate it to Halo in a way.
Because here's the thing. The reason why I'm wondering is because I have an idea, and I'll expand upon it to you guys when we're done with this episode.
Private.
I like ideas.
Patreon! That's not one of the names. I'm just saying it's time.
I would not have been surprised in the slightest.
First of all, it's Jacob Adlam.
Oh.
All right.
ScionEsports, thank you for joining us.
Thank you
on
for
Tuesday.
being here.
You're a really cool sponsor. You guys are really nice, and I like what you guys do. So
Give us free cars.
That was that was definitely. I was gonna say something a little more fun. Like that was a fun voice in the walls, but no. Free
Shane over here
cars.
panhandling on the internet.
Dude, straight up,
cars.
I love that. That's the thing you just do every time. give us free things.
Give us free shit.
Give us free cars.
Give us the
please.
jumper car.
Have you guys seen the jumper car?
Huh? We have
What?
The jumper car.
Yeah, the banana car.
I've
Remember?
not seen it.
Oh,
I've
Yeah.
not seen a picture.
I've
of it.
heard of it.
Dude, it has turbo.
Yeah, he's yeah.
It's straight going right? Like it sounds so sick. It's in the Cars forum if you want to look it up. So next up, continuing, The Dawn. Prepare yourselves.
oh no! Was that the name?
Yes.
What do we need? Prepare ourselves for
The Dawn.
The dawns of lactation are in your walls. It's Default 456, Dark Salad 42. It's Dick Hammerbush!
Yeah.
Connor, I'm the real Don, you imposter. Don Crowbar Shrub, Halo the Guy, Mr. Shifter, James Zealot, Spartan Dave, the Don. the Don.
All right, well, this whole week is going to be dedicated to Connor.
Captain Varco, UNSC Walks Softly, Cool Blazer, H Ghost, Kyle Hooley, Mo Maggot, y'all, and only Don's toe picks.
I'm going to get sick.
Spartan Nabucco, G156, Addy Criminal, Batman, Shane, give Robin back.
You gotta give him back.
Batman has requested it.
No.
Hey there, Halo fans. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with our friends right after these messages.
Connor Clark, Dapper Dame, Dylan, had no idea, then it dawned on me. Lactating Gator, Lactating Milk MT, Sergeant Forge's Chipotle Shotgun, the decaying Don that died playing Shane's PS2.
Yo, I haven't seen my PS2 in like 14 years. Can I have it back?
Apparently, I was gonna say, apparently someone died playing that PS2. So
I still want it back.
it's
I
on
want
your
to
hands.
I want to play Sly Cooper and Ratchet and Clank.
You know, if we're following the logic of Chief being responsible, you're responsible for this.
Sure. Thanks, James. Look what you've done.
The Lactation of Mercy, A Rubber Room with Rats, and Rats Make Me Crazy. Brendan Pfeiffer, Sky Cairo, Dadaroth, Izmaz Daz Kadeedle. I'm getting good at that. Eliza, JX O'Malley, Keith, G077, Oddball here, Slab Nuts, Tyson Rue 88, Aussie ODST, Austin, don't look now, but I'm right behind you.
He looked.
You lied.
He looked right now.
There's nothing there. Unless he's in the walls.
He's in the goddamn wall. How are you in brick?
It's not that hard.
Yeah, just no clip.
Yeah. Damian Groth, Dr. Lactator, Facebook Shooty, Zealot, Wart, Hayden, Bard Don't Play Name Games, Hamilton. I tried salt on pancakes, and I have to agree Big Don is right. It's pretty good. Shane's biggest hater. That's in parentheses. Shane's biggest hater. All right. Shane has
definitely default.
Shane has, wait.
Was it default?
You know what? I don't know. But it's not his profile picture, so probably not.
Oh, wow.
Doesn't he have a bard and a regular?
Yeah, but I don't know if that's him. Because how am I supposed to know?
Shane's biggest hater, I'm assuming it's default.
I'm glad that he brought up the salted pancakes.
Lactating Snake Nipples. Pity 104. Ratster Chief. The Aradon. I get it, Aragon. That's definitely Ethan. The Goob. This one is Machine and Werv, and this one has its mind concluded. This one is but flesh and faith, and it's the more deluded.
Oh man,
Shane looked visibly sad having to listen to that. I had to read that last week.
Wraith, the Spectral Dawn, Extrichian, Zengil, Bloody Shedman 32.
What?
Garrus Vicarian, Iskari. James, do you want to read something silly for money again?
I already said yes last week.
Keegan, Warm Apple Swouse.
Swouse?
Yeah, I'm happy his name is Swouse now. Guys, where did she go? The normal name. Where did she go?
Wait, you didn't say Ginger Boy had
Is he gone?
You didn't say him.
wait, what about Linda?
Ginger Boy.
Ginger Boy.
Linda and Ginger Boy Head Ass. Where'd you guys go?
Ginger Boy Head Ass was like my favorite name. No.
Why? What happened?
Linda.
I'm upset.
Connor's
I'm on
heartbroken
that.
over Linda.
Because it's like a nice break in between all of the BS.
Ginger Boy. There's two names I listen for.
Yeah.
I listen for Face McShooty, and I listen for Ginger Boy Head Ass. And I didn't hear Ginger Boy Head Ass, and I'm upset.
He's not here. I didn't read him.
That hurts.
I didn't see him.
I hope he listens to this.
You
and is
good?
just like, no.
Dude, Linda, man. I mean,
Connor, drop it.
no, that was the cue to be regular and be like, this is nice. And now it's gone.
We actually have normal people.
So next up, we're on to our reviews. I've got a couple of them, including part 2 from last week's story.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I was not here.
You should just listen to the episode because it's long.
Oh boy.
You want to see how long? That's part 2. Part 1 is down here.
Oh, no. Is that?
Yeah. So basically, just to give you a brief plot synopsis so far, James, a guy has woken up in Shane's basement, and these two guys are trying to survive together. There's already dead bodies down there. And that's kind of the gist of it so far. But one of the best parts from part 1, just so I can say this, is my mind is bustling like the subways in Manhattan. My thoughts. What was it? My thoughts. Right? My thoughts. My thoughts because I don't know how to use italics. Yeah. I've been kidnapped. I'm in a garage. I'm here with multiple people. Shane from The Walking Dead.
Walks all around. They're in the woods.
So, first one is from Rush Claggett. Loose ends. Hey guys, it's me again. I thought I'd clear some things up about the review so Austin doesn't sound dumb when he reads them. JK, I love you, Austin Pookie. All jokes. 1, my last name is pronounced Claggett, as in lag out of a website. My username is pronounced Spinosauridia. I still don't understand the difference between Spinosauridia, Spinosauridae, or Spinosaurids, but they basically all refer to the group of dinosaurs known as Spinosaurs. Anything to clue in on that, James?
So I was correct, I think.
Yes. Basically, they are simply awesome. James, you mentioned that you were a dino nerd as a kid. I still really want to go into paleontology and paleo ecology, but other things like game design, game development, content creation, movie making, and directing and story writing have become of great interest to me over the past few years. James, if you still love dinosaurs, what's your favorite? You guys probably already know mine. Austin, Shane, Connor, feel free to answer as well.
Well, I'm Spinosaurid's number 1 hater, so sorry to tell you that.
If they have an op, it's me.
But probably if I had to pick, I love me a Carcharodontosaurus.
Are we naming our favorite dinosaur?
Carnotaurus is also awesome. I also like Therizinosaurus. Those are cool.
Okay, can you stop before you say mine? Please. You were going to keep going, and then I didn't want to, I wanted to say
Majungasaurus is cool.
God
they
damn it.
eat each other.
I was like,
mine. There's no way you knew it that way.
No,
I do like the Majungasaurus though.
No, I'm a fan of the...
and one more. Ceratosaurus.
I was gonna kill you. I am a fan of the iguanodons because of the dinosaur movie.
Oh, I was not gonna say that. Don't worry.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, give me the Dunkleosaurus.
What?
It's an armored shark, basically.
That's awesome.
That's not a dinosaur. And it's
it was full of video game.
I love how James corrects after being like,
that one, because it dunks on people.
Dunkleosteus.
I was gonna say
has bone teeth.
I was gonna say Carnotaurus because dinosaur.
Mine.
You said that already.
I'm much more broad because I'm after one specific feature. Give me any dinosaur with a thagomizer. Thank you. I just love him. Let's just bop him. I give him a head bop. And then he continues, the reviewer using Galaga symbols in their username is just using an iPhone emoji. Austin wouldn't know this, of course. Oh, I see how it is. Just type video game into the emoji search bar and you'll see it. Like I said in the last review, you guys are absolutely hilarious to listen to and you make my day with this amazing project. Also, controversial hot take. Halo Infinite is my favorite game. Okay. It's
not really
I don't think it's actually that controversial.
No.
A lot of people still praise the gameplay. I do too.
The gameplay is great.
The gameplay is the best. It's, in my opinion, it's ever been.
It's just don't pay attention to the story. There's nothing to pay attention to.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe my mind will change. We're going to give it another playthrough before we get to talking about Halo Infinite.
I still enjoy the story. I don't think it's like anything amazing, but like I still enjoy the story.
I feel like it has as much depth as like Combat Evolve's campaign does. Probably more.
I got bored of Combat Evolve's story quick.
I would hope it has more than Combat Evolve.
The thing is that I just get so bored with just watching people stand there in cutscenes. You might get the cool thing where Chief holds a different weapon depending on what you brought into the cutscene, but he's still just walking around the room. It's hard to not realize that they are in a studio and they couldn't afford, or maybe didn't choose to afford, making Chief do anything other than he jumped off of a platform, he gets thrown one time, and the rest of the time he's walking. Very sad. Anyway, if you want me to explain, I will write another review next week. You don't really need to, but whatever you want to do. Last thing, I promise. If you four were on a Spartan fire team together, what aliens would you choose to be on your team? What aliens?
Like from the Halo universe?
I don't even need to speak.
It would be the Sangheili.
I'm taking the Flood. Cope. You all lose. It doesn't matter what you tell me. You all lose.
So we're talking about in the scenario where they don't eat us, right?
I don't
It's
think
just
the flood can be your pals in any way.
Well, they were for a bit in Halo 3.
You're changing the question. If they are our pals, who are you taking? The flood are my pals. I am sending 1 million infection forms after you all. I win, hands down.
But we're all on a team.
We're all on a team?
Yeah, Spartan Fire Team.
I would like to apologize. I thought I misinterpreted the question. I didn't know.
Was it how heartfelt and depressed I said we're on a team?
Yes. I thought it meant like if we were all like facing each other and had an army.
No.
Okay, we're all on a team?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to apologize.
We're going to kill all of you. It's like, I've brought Sangheili. I've brought Brutes. I've brought the flood.
How'd you know I was going to say the brutes?
I wonder, really?
Fucking wonder.
How do you know?
I'm at least self-aware enough to say y'all know what I picked.
I'm still taking the flood though, if I'm being real. Assuming that they're not going to eat your guys' face.
What about your face?
They won't eat mine.
I think they would.
I'm bringing them.
He is the grave mind.
I am him.
Yeah, I'll just glass your ass.
That's more James's tactic.
I'll set you on a Halo ring.
We're not
set you up.
We're not fighting each other. We've established
I'm
this.
not gonna lie. Give me the grunts.
I mean, they can reproduce like.
Not only can they reproduce like crazy, they can just spawn.
Yeah.
If I have the grunts on my side, I'm including Yap Yap in this equation. He's going to sit on his throw and me out an army. I'm just saying.
Don't forget the grunt mechs.
Yes, give me the goblins. They're hilarious.
PTSD.
I would personally have Sangheili and Kigyar because elites are very good fighters and an alliance with some Kigyar would be interesting. By the way, this has happened in canon. Halo Infinite Operation Combined Arms also alludes to this. Let Connor go first because I already know his answer, even though the majority of them are in the banished.
We should have read the rest of the question.
Connor, would you like to officially say your answer?
I like to go with the brutes. On this one. I don't think anyone saw it coming, but the brutes every time.
Listen, all I'm saying, 343, just make like one side game about playing as a brute. I think Connor would probably just invest.
I'd buy it on my Xbox and then buy it again on my PC. I'd fully support it. I'd even find their Patreon if they had one.
Oh, that's funny. We'll review this one again because this guy reposted his review with some extra stuff, I guess. It's the dude with the cat that walked across his keyboard for the username. Still titled, "Why did you not read my last review?" Refer to last week's episode. Help, the mini fridge is so full from too full from all of us. I will now send you a special potato that will slam a bowling ball into Austin's cranium, then Shane's, James, and not Connor. Also, who will win, Noble Six or Space Marine or James?
Oh, yeah.
We answered this question last week. What's your answer?
Me.
Would you care to explain?
No. You guys picked me, right? Yeah, I did.
Sorry for the MP.
I'll be smart, okay?
I'm gonna.
You know what I would do?
What's that?
Well, where's this fight taking place?
No details.
Detroit.
Well, I'm going to assume Reach.
Detroit.
I'll just get it off planet. Well, 6 and maybe the Space Marine get glassed. Therefore, I win.
Therefore, I win. You know what? He makes a good argument.
You're welcome.
I think 6 because Space Marine will tear James in half, and 6 has the achievements of the Master Chief in a shorter time span.
That's one.
I just want to say 6 would rip any of us in half. Let's not single me out like this.
By the way, I didn't join the Patreon, so that person is fake. I don't know who he's talking about. It probably was a while ago. We forget a lot of the stuff that we talk about as soon as the episodes are up. Actually, as soon as we're done recording, it's usually we forgot. I forgot.
Honestly, people bring something up. I'm like, oh yeah, we said that.
I'll jump down to part 2 of Let Us Out after these next 2 or next 3.
Feel free to
reviews.
not.
It's going to have to happen, Shane.
Accept it.
Welcome to the last community you'll ever want to be a part of. 5 stars from Flyboy Pfeiffer. If you're even vaguely interested in Halo, this is the place for you. Joining the Discord is a must. There's something for everyone. Places to talk cars, music, show off your Halo collection, or creations and game nights. There's even an emotional support channel if you're going through something. We look out for our people. Join today. The podcast is fun, but the community is without a doubt the thing that will keep you around. Wow, that was just genuinely like a review.
I didn't know we had an emotional support channel.
It's literally right underneath the general channel. It's a channel that's called What's on Your Mind, Buddy?
That's what that's for.
Yeah, we put it there because people were starting to get real deep in general chat. And I'm like, I don't want these guys to get drowned out. I'm just going to put a new channel right there. And then immediately got populated with a ton of people just being like, I am going through so much. And, you know, it's fine. Life is like that.
I'll have to stop by and then just be like, have a good time. I hope the best for you, buddy. No, I wouldn't do that.
We care. I have an idea. 5 stars from Alien Boy. Once again, disclaimer, Shane is not a kidnapper. Apple Podcasts, this is a funny joke. I've arrived outside of Shane's garage and attempting to let out the prisoners. I'll give updates.
All right.
Shane's just rolling with it at this point.
I can't stop it. It's already in motion.
We'll put it out of motion.
See, I've told the people in my attic that, yeah, I'm running with that joke. I told the people in my attic that,
I would hope it was. I hope you were running with the joke.
Yeah.
I didn't think you were serious.
with running with the joke, I'm like, bro, the door's been unlocked the whole time.
Bro, you guys could leave the whole time.
There's a updated version of the Loose Ends review that I didn't see. So just to add on to what Rush Claggett said, also the beat at the end of the newest Stories from Waypoint episode hit different. I mean, I got goosebumps and almost peed my pants from that moment.
Whoa. Might get that checked out.
Thanks, I guess.
Performs a basic human function, Connor says. You might want to get that checked out.
Take a listen. Stories from Waypoint. First of all, new episode is going to be dropping next week. It's going to be awesome. But also, the Lone Wolves episode is already out, and it does have a pretty banging soundtrack, not going to lie. So, here we go. Let Us Out Part 2. 5 stars.
James, buckle up and pay attention.
From 1111 Wither King. Disclaimer, this story was all made up in my screwed up mind and some jokes that were casually said in the reviews before mine by clapping thinking emoji. I'm going to just call him Clap because he's just emojis. There's no username. And the Russian Halo Wolf. Shane is not a kidnapper and it's just a joke. Don't dox him and take him into custody. Day 17. After a couple of weeks, I, Q-Dorian, have made myself more comfortable with the filthy yet spacious garage. On the right side of the garage, we made our beds out of worn clothes that he carelessly threw in here. One man's trash is another man's treasure, I guess. On the left is where you can find every knickknack in existence. From the largest balls I had ever seen to a couple of old PS2 games like Ratchet and Clank, Jak and Daxter, Sly Cooper, and Crash Bandicoot.
Bro, you have too much free time. You pay way too much attention. That's actually scary.
Shane is writhing in pain the entire time this is being read.
I like you, Q-Dorian. You put a lot of Q&A responses on room 237, so I'll let this keep going, and I will keep supporting your work.
Though, that's where all the cool parts of the garage end. Comfort in here doesn't guarantee sleep. Practically every night, our ears are met with Shane's screams at a game. Sometimes we hear him crying, which is followed by, "Why, Emil? Why?" I can tell you with full certainty that I want out of here. I'm not alone, though. I must admit, I've gotten quite acquainted with the people that I've been bunking, quote unquote, with. The Russian Halo Wolf has been quite kind and almost a mentor to me. He's been down here for almost a month now, though every time I press him about questions about his past, he starts to change the subject almost immediately after I ask. I have my suspicions about him, but I choose not to worry about him. Same thing goes with Clap, except worse. He hasn't said a thing to me, and he just stays in the corner until he decides it's not worth fighting his hunger. In recent days, it's been quite boring up until this happened. "Score!" yelled the Russian Halo Wolf. I turned immediately and asked, "What is it?" He stares at me and raises his arms up in the air, revealing a PS2. Only the greatest console in existence! That was something to be debated about. I scoffed at the idea of playing a PlayStation.
This reads like a no sleep story.
It does. I'm sure that the way that I'm reading it is not helping.
I'm picturing a version of Shane like drawn by like Meat Canyon right now. Like,
Stop.
If we ever get Meat Canyoned, I will.
Oh, gosh.
Oh man.
I have always been an Xbox stan besides the times I play Helldivers 2 on the PS5. It's a dark time to be a Halo gamer, okay? Give me a break. As an Xbox stan, I had sworn scrutiny toward all other consoles. Like, I'll play that me realizing that this thing is very heavily altered garbage. He frowns at me as if I'd committed heresy to quickly discard such a, as they refer to it, relic. Well, when boredom kicks in, you can meet me over there. He starts pointing over to where we've set up an old Sony TV. You don't want to end up like Clap. He's a prime example of why you don't leave your mind idle. That was a true statement. We still don't know how long he's been here, and other than he's been here longer than the Russian Halo Wolf. But in an act of resistance, walked away to my makeshift bed and laid there with thoughts infesting my mind. Many were tossed about, but one that stuck to me was, why was I here? I don't know what I did to get under his skin. Was it because my first Halo game was Halo 5? Because I like ketchup on my mac and cheese? My weird hate for the original shotgun? I couldn't find the answer.
Whoa.
Not that it mattered really, because the garage door slammed open. Me and the Russian Halo Wolf stood up to find Shane standing at the door with a man wearing the same ash-brown bag over his head that I once wore. Trauma flowed over me and made me freeze. This was the first time I saw, well, all of him. He was about 5'10" and had decent muscular build showing through his clothes. Unlike me, his new victim was wide awake and struggling to get out of his grasp, but it was no use. Shane threw him on the ground. Keep the bag. Too much blood on it, he said.
oh my God! Damn!
Shane was climbing on the shelf, and from the top shelf, he gave him an RKO.
Oh my God. Dude, honestly, this is amazing so far.
He finished him with the people's elbow.
Oh my God.
It was utterly baffling. And as if nothing happened, he gracefully walked out of here with barely a scratch. I tried helping the Russian Halo Wolf up, but it was no use. He was unconscious. Instead, I moved over to the new guy and took off the hood. Hey, what's your name? He looked up to me, totally oblivious to what happened. My name's Default, and there's a whole lot more people coming.
You got him! You got him, Shane!
I got him. I had a feeling it was going to be Default.
Part 3. Also, I know that this is a tad bit more serious. Do you like it, or do you want me to change it back to how it used to be?
No, I like
I
this.
love this.
No, this is good. This
I
was
need you to
good.
keep doing this so we can make a film adaptation of this, and then we can talk about it on Room 237.
See, the reason why he's saying like the different format is because the first one was much more hilarious. Just to pick from another portion of it. So who is Shane exactly? He rolls his eyes. I'm assuming that you've listened to the Library Halo Lorecast. You can listen to the Library Halo Lorecast on all podcast apps near you. Also, you can join them on discord.gg/JumperScape. So it was much more like kind of funny.
Yeah. It was more self-aware. I liked the second one. It had a good mix. That was good. I enjoyed that one.
That was some good stuff.
Oh, God.
Thank you for that. Thank you for those reviews. It's always great to read you guys' views, especially if they're like legit. Like that's pretty sick. But if you do like these like inside joke things, that's pretty funny. I would love to know what people who are on the outside think of them. But yeah. Just a friendly reminder, you can do all of that on Apple Podcasts. If you can't do it on podcasts, that's fine. 5 stars on Spotify is honestly the only other way that you can really benefit us if you're not here in the Discord. So super appreciated in that front. So now, my friends, we're on to the final chapter, the Q&A. We're going to try to do this quickly because I don't want to get left in the dust by these people. They keep on asking more questions.
We gotta let the people know.
Yeah. Don Fox2 Quick asks, do we see a real possibility that the UNSC and Banished end up having to team up against the Endless? If the Endless just end up using the Banished as tools, if the Endless just end up using the Banished as tools, assuming we continue that story arc.
I don't think so.
No.
I think we're more likely to see like the Swords of St. Helios make an appearance.
You know, you would hope, right?
Yeah, yeah. You would. It makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
It would be great, especially since Arbiter and Atriox almost scrapped.
Yeah. Yep. I think you're more likely to see the Swords of St. Helios. You're probably more likely to see Fireteam Osiris back.
I would love if the fact that Keith David was at HCS last year was an indication that he's back in the franchise.
Hopefully.
Right?
How long we got to wait for that?
Don Lays in Connor's Attic asks, what do you think about a Halo game about the criminal underbelly, like gangs and criminal empires? I think it'd be cool to just be a normal cop or police officer who is going after the non-Oni level threats of a criminal empire on a planet or two, like a detective game. Also, feel free to join me in Connor's Attic if you go to discord.gg/JumperScape.
Make it happen. That would be really cool, but for me, if this ever actually happened, I would totally sniff it out as Microsoft tacking Halo onto an IP, like on a different game.
It would feel like that because Halo has a very specific vibe, especially since their games usually tie towards a bigger arc.
It's just more or less been like we've had similar questions, and like it's always been, if you guys are asking if we want to see any type of like spin-off or like other game that's made like something different in the Halo franchise, like yes, just because we're somewhat content starved.
Well, at one point, it's like, yes, we're always going to probably say yes to these games. I think it's more just like this person wanting to see what we think of them rather than if it should be a game. But the answer is usually, that's cool.
No, it'd be cool. I think
it's not my first choice.
No, that's what I'm saying. There's so many other games that James almost just ate shit, sorry. It would more or less be, I want to see a bunch of other games made before I see something like that made. There's so much that needs to be done with the Halo franchise before something like that is made.
Yeah.
Don't think it'd be a bad idea, but it has to be executed very, very differently.
Yeah. It's Suki asks, ignore if already answered, but do you guys know about any of the deleted/unfinished content that 343 has hidden? Example, various flood forms, alternate stories, etc. Well, we've talked about it a couple times, like the shotgun, the banished shotgun, and Falcon, and all of that.
There's like a flooded tank form or something like that. What is it called? Juggernaut? I think it's a Juggernaut.
The Juggernaut from Halo 2?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was cut. That's another one that was cut.
See, I'll give the real spicy stuff. That's like the recent sort of things that people aren't really talking about.
Like?
Halo Infinite's campaign was supposed to be linear. And I know a lot about what that entailed.
Or about the fact that Halo Infinite's multiplayer was going to be a hero shooter.
Yeah.
Don't forget about that. That's the reason we probably have this shitty core system.
Yeah, and the way that the multiplayer was going to go was going to kind of coincide with the campaign. The campaign was going to be its own little environment for storytelling to grow. I can't really say a whole lot of detail, but it was going to be more interesting than that. So listen, guys, we know a lot, or more specifically, I know a whole lot. It's just, I can't really say everything all the time because it's sort of up in the air whether or not it's stuff that I'm allowed to talk about, because some of this stuff is known by very specific people. And if I say stuff, then other people know that I talked to those people. So I'm being careful with my words. Corsair74 asks, what is the coolest UNSC ship class? P.S. Let them out of your garage. They seem to be starving. Good. Coolest UNSC ship class? Phoenix. The Phoenix class carrier. Easy. Not even a contest. That's the Spirit of Fire.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Then, yeah.
So it's attractive. It's a very realistic ship. It's beautiful.
I just like me a little frigate.
Which one, though?
The one that go.
Huh?
There's like 4.
I'm bad with names. The one that Forward Unto Dawn is.
The Forward Unto Dawn is a... All of the names just slipped my mind entirely.
This guy coming at me for not knowing the names, and now he don't remember the names.
I'm thinking. Why did they all just disappear? I've been working with these for a while now. I think I'm just tired.
I'm so tired, boss.
You know what? Fair. I can't remember their names. I usually work with them all the time, and I just kind of.
When I think of UNSC frigate, that's the ship I think of.
Yeah, because there's the Reach one, but that's a different class entirely. Halo 3 and ODST have the same one. Halo 2 and 3.
Well, they all have the same silhouette.
Yeah, it's a matter of how big they are and roughly if they have curves. Because
talking about the silhouette.
If they
the
have
one
curves.
that just has it just looks like a giant railgun.
So all 4 of them.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's go with all 4.
I'm with James on this one.
Sick. Keith G077 asks, what are your thoughts on Forerunners receiving an imprint from the opposite gender? Do they then shift genders, or do they regulate the same gender imprinting only?
Oh God, I knew nothing about this.
Oh, so this is going to have to be a me thing again?
Probably.
Oh, gosh.
If
Okay.
it's Forerunner, it's you.
I'm okay with that. We don't have a lot of examples, or potentially even any examples of that happening, although off of what we know from imprinting, it would likely just be that you would maintain the same gender that you were, because Forerunners, they have an even stronger male-female dichotomy thing going on than humans do. Like, if you are a female, you have very specific tasks, very specific classes, very specific rates that you can be. If you're a male, you also have very specific classes, rates, and tasks that you are going to be given. Going and crossing over, like, there are females and males in different classes. So, like the librarian, the life shapers, the life workers, they can be male or female. Pretty much any of them could really be male or female. It really just kind of comes down to what their class is. The class and the rate that they are is much more important, and will cross over a whole lot more than the gender, because it doesn't change it changes their appearance to look more like the person that imprinted upon them, but it doesn't change their actual anatomy. That's an important part. So, like, good examples are things like Forerunners can reproduce, but they can also just straight up take somebody's kid and imprint upon that kid, and then that kid will be, such as in the case of Bornsteller, he becomes the Didact. He just looks exactly like him just before he went nuts. And so the Didact meeting the Didact is so wild, because the young Didact meets the old Didact, and that's a really fun conversation. And the librarian is happily married to both, and it's a bit weird. But I don't think it would change up the gender. I think it would it's only important what rate you get, because Bornsteller was a builder. He was born a builder, but then when he got imprinted by the Didact, he became a warrior servant. So that changed pretty much instantly. And his father was furious. So that's what I would say is the most important takeaway from that.
Hey there, Halo fans. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with our friends right after these messages.
Seaman, gosh, 2781 asks, going off the ODST episode, man, that was a long time ago. That was with November Black, our first guests. Can you guys make up some lore as to why Chief forgot he could dual wield? Be as wild or as serious as you like.
I think he's talking about the Halo 3 ODST episode.
Oh.
He didn't feel like it.
That's what we talked about, dual wielding.
Yeah, that's true. Brain damage from combat. He hit his head too many times. Multiple concussions. Connor can relate.
Yeah. Hey, I never had any that were diagnosed.
Connor, tell me, can you hold two weapons at the same time?
I mean,
That's a horrifying thought. I don't want you to try that with me present.
It's been done.
With me present, that's all I care about.
You were there, I think.
Shay's just thinking about this. James, you have any 2 cents to add to that?
No.
Okay. Next question comes from Mass, Council of Patreon Names, asks, what is your guys' favorite Patreon bit so far?
I think you know mine.
Yeah, the garage.
The story. I mean, I guess not really. Yeah, that's
a bit. That's a bit.
Well, it's not Patreon. That's a review.
That's kind of where it started.
Yeah, it is. But that's a review. But the bit started.
Yeah,
started there.
It's definitely that.
Sometimes it gets a little like okay, but for the most part, I think it's fun.
Yeah.
I like the ones that get meta. Like Shane, could you move that wire?
Yeah, that tripped me out. You said that, and I was like, I had a full blown fucking panic attack because you kept reading. I'm like, oh god, is something else going to catch on fire? Like, what do I need to move?
Nope.
I need to whenever we're reading Patreon names, I need to turn around.
That's Connor's.
It's Connor's.
It's ongoing to this.
Because a lot of them get spoiled because I can see the screen, and I'm the only one who can see the screen.
Well, then don't look
For
at the
now.
screen.
Well, and also I keep missing ones.
He's got a point.
I keep missing ones that I'm like, that was probably funny. Like when I was doing 237 last week, there was something that was like, James, a ghost, or something like that. But it was me reading it, so I feel like that would have been funny if I didn't read it.
Yeah, I get you. My favorite bit? Oh man. Not gonna lie, I think probably the most interesting one. No, that can't be it because it's only like one guy doing that. I'm not gonna lie. Whenever it's first started happening, when lactation was a thing, and it just started spreading through all the usernames, that was so funny because that was foreshadowing.
It progressively got worse.
It was foreshadowing for the future. That's why I liked it so much.
There's still a few lactation people in the chat, but it seems to be
Few
mostly
ones.
Dons now.
Yeah, you took over. April Fools just did something to the server.
No, today it was like the theme was clearly you. It was like mostly directed at you.
So that's entertaining. I like how you guys got your own stuff going on. It's awesome.
We the Dons.
You have your own sticker in the server.
We the Dons.
Ian the Don in Connor's Attic
Speaking
asks,
of the devil.
Shane and James,
Uh-oh.
why do y'all like the Bears and hate the Browns?
Bro. Okay.
Why do we what?
Why do you like the Bears and why do you hate the Browns?
I don't like the Bears.
Shane knows what's going on here.
I don't.
It's what's his name? He thinks we like the Bears he doesn't actually think it, but it is a horrible gag. I do not like that poverty franchise. I really don't. I like the other poverty franchise. Thank you very much.
Is that Ian?
Yeah.
It's Ian. Thank you.
The Bears.
Yes, I don't.
They are professionals at going 6-10. So are we. But we're getting better.
And got hornswoggled in the first round.
Hey, my boy Flacco, he did his best.
The thing is, the thing that really sucked about last season is like, if we just lost the first round playoff game like close,
We got embarrassed.
I would have been like, we got further than we should have given everything that happened this season. But good job, guys. But because we got so unbelievably destroyed, I was just like, I was embarrassed almost.
No, it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
It was.
After that second interception, where I'm pretty sure I lost a piece of my soul that day.
Joe Flacco, pick six.
Yeah,
Appreciate you.
After that second one, I stopped watching.
I was really just rooting for that Joe Flacco revenge game in the second round against the Ravens. I was hoping we might get that opportunity, but it did not.
I didn't expect to win. I expected us to look better than what we did. Our defense kind of let us down too. Our defense wasn't good.
That and our team's inability to stay healthy.
Yeah, that's the biggest takeaway. I mean, maybe changing stadium locations will help us.
All right, next question.
Guyvertron asks, how ripe do you think Chief's BO was after they removed his armor at the end of Halo 4, since that was the first time he took it off in 4.5 years since he put it on at the beginning of Halo 2?
Next question.
Remember when that one lady, remember in SpongeBob when that one lady's eyebrows burn off? It'd probably be like that.
I mean, like, everyone talks about that scene about it being so sick, but as we're watching the armor fall to the ground, I can picture the animated green stench animation.
Some flies going.
Yeah.
The stink lines.
Like you remove the helmet and it's just like you see
Bro
just
had the pestilence armor
yes,
effect on.
yes.
Y'all, that smell after taking a cast off.
You know what? Okay, modders. I know that there are modders out there. I'm gonna need one of y'all to make just a pestilence mod. Just give me the entirety of the Halo 4 campaign, but Chief constantly has the pestilence armor effect on the entire way through.
Stinky.
Yes, because he's stinky. Please do that. I would love it. Thank you. This has been a message from JumperScape. Sergeant Forge's Chipotle Shotgun asks, who wins a 1v1 between Master Chief and Steve Rogers? No armor and no shield. Chief bodies Captain America immediately. 100%. Do I even need to go into this? A 1940, 45? I don't know.
Bro, he does have augmentations, but
augmentations from the 2500s are probably better than the ones in the 1940s.
I agree.
Because, dude, I love this series that's called Superhero Beatdown. It's awesome. A superpower beatdown, my bad. And it's basically just, it's two characters. It's like Death Battle, but live action. And it's super sick. The problem with it is that it's about fan voting and not about who would be more likely to win.
Oh, fan voting. With that logic, Super Mario beats everybody.
That's what ended up happening.
Yeah.
There was a vote in that. Captain America versus Master Chief. and Cap won because like
Marvel dick riders.
basically he like the final blow, he knocks Chief to the ground somehow and then slams his shield into Chief's armored neck and kills him that way. And I'm just sitting there,
yeah, not with the armor.
No, because like his suit can take that. That's the problem that I have with it.
It's taken arguably worse.
It's like it just doesn't work. It's a very bad comparison because it just doesn't. It wouldn't.
I say take away Chief's armor, and then it might be closer to a fair fight.
Maybe, yeah, probably. But like even then, he can lift more. Like Captain America could stop a helicopter from flying away. Chief can lift a tank. Like Cap can't do that. He hasn't shown the ability to lift something that heavy. He can lift heavy stuff. Just we're talking like if we were talking like these guys were in a bodybuilding competition. Chief out here benching way too much.
Bro could flip a scorpion.
Yes, it's just ridiculous. So
You can flip an elephant.
finally,
Could technically flip an elephant.
wait, what? How did you do that?
Oh, I see
cheap.
what you did. I see what you did there.
Thank you.
I see what you did
Thank
there.
you.
Connor doesn't get it.
No.
I get it.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Oh,
There's
good.
I'm glad.
There's a prompt there.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
I'm glad
He
you
gets
got
it.
I didn't think you did.
Yeah.
Halo fan.
I'm not that Halo brain dead.
Yeah.
Hey James, you're all right there?
No,
Are you just so distant from the conversation you want to get back involved?
I zoned for a little bit.
I
yeah.
know.
I'm really tired. I'm sorry.
I'm not doing well over here.
We're almost
I have a
done.
case of the hay fever.
We're perfectly fine. We got 5 minutes, 5 questions, and then we're all done. Ethan, Council of Patreon Names, asks, who would win, Master Chief or Mr. Rogers from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood?
Master Chief. Okay.
Hold on, wait,
Please
no.
move on.
No.
Listen, hear me out. Hear me out.
They're gonna have a good conversation and talk about the world and it being nice.
I have 2 answers to
They're
this.
gonna be friends.
Connor's answer is correct. Rogers would absolutely just be like, hello there. What's on your mind today?
Hello, neighbor.
Hello,
Okay.
neighbor. But then secondly, who in the world made the puppets come to life? Who did it? Who did that? Could only be one person. The Mr. Vietnam himself, okay? I'm just saying. He's got magic. He just doesn't reveal it. I don't know what this is supposed to mean. Warm Apple Swouse asks, do you think Ricky is canon in? Question mark?
Who?
Ricky Stanicki?
I'm guessing he's meaning, do you think Rookie is canon in Halo, but instead wrote, do you think Ricky is canon, like canon, CANNON, the canon, boom, in question mark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rookie is canon.
Yes, he is canon.
Slapnuts asks, which Halo campaign and multiplayer do you guys think will be the most fun to play in VR? Oh.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Halo 3 just because we have played that and technically in VR. Me, James, and Austin did at Outpost Chicago.
True. That was true.
We played virtual laser tag on Valhalla
Yes.
in VR. It got to a minute where I was having technical difficulties with my plasma pistol, and I sat there and I stood at the edge of this platform. We were dead. This platform was probably about 30 by 30, if not maybe a little bit bigger, just on the very, very middle of Valhalla, and we were having a laser tag match there. I stood on the edge of this platform that we were on, and I just looked around.
Yep.
It was so
Look
cool.
at that detail.
Look at that detail. No, it was amazing.
Multiplayer.
I really like the sound design.
Multiplayer, Halo 3. Campaign, Halo 5.
Halo 5 campaign in VR would go crazy.
Because I'm thinking of the mission where you have to run down the side of a Guardian.
I'd vomit.
That would be sick.
I would immediately get spaghetti legs and fall over.
I'm terrified of heights. I
Like,
wouldn't do well.
If you've done enough VR, you know there's some things that your brain is not meant to like perceive but not do. And
If you want to get traumatized.
extreme motion while standing is one of those.
I'm waiting for that to click. My brain is too powerful. I'm waiting for it to hit. Rogue Ninja and Council of Patreon Names asks, what's your take on putting peanut butter on pancakes and waffles? Completely normal and
That's
delicious.
no.
pretty good.
That's
so
fine.
good.
No.
What?
On pancakes, waffles, I understand.
Pancakes.
Yeah.
It's like the same. They have like the same batter, almost the same.
You
batter.
insult my wife, sir.
No. I understand waffles, but pancakes, that's just
You put
weird.
salt on pancakes.
You put
Moving
salt
on.
I love how it's like the weird thing he's a big fan of. The normal thing that most of the population would be down to do.
Other people agree with me.
We're going to see about that.
One guy.
You have maybe
one
2
guy.
or 3 people.
He didn't even imply that it's bad. He's just asking for our take on it.
That's just weird.
It's not.
Please just read the next question.
Chaplain Strife asks, do you think a Splinter Cell-esque game with gray or black teams would do well? And since it would be a break in the mold if it did happen, should it cost 30, 40 instead of 60?
If I wanted it,
Definitely shouldn't be full price.
if existed, would I want it? Yes. Would it do well? I don't know, actually.
Well, if we had a strictly stealth-based Halo game playing as Spartans, that'd be kind of sick.
No, it would be sick.
I can imagine, like, okay, but here's the thing. I agree with him on this point. Probably would be 30. I can imagine this being a good side game because, like, with Halo, let's say, like, Halo.
I did see this Twitter meme the other day. It was like, man, I have an idea for a Halo spinoff. And it's just like, it's like, oh, what is it? It was captioned every Halo fan ever. I was like, so you have some ODSTs. And
My favorite thing ever is when people start talking about what do you want from Halo? Everyone now knows this inside joke. You'll just put bullet points and it's just ODSTs, Band of Brothers, realistic and gritty.
Me out here with my brutes, just we want something.
Thing is, I really want Halo to do this thing that we only saw one time. Make a game to advertise another game. Halo 2 Anniversary advertised Master Chief Collection directly, specifically. I would love it if we got a smaller Halo game that advertised the next big launch that launches like the next year.
You could also argue Halo 2 Anniversary advertised Halo 5.
Yeah.
I was just about to say that.
But that's my thing. Like, imagine that. Imagine you get a small game, $30 Halo game that's got its own experiences, got its own stuff, and then a year later, the next major Halo game comes out with that as a way of getting into it.
Yes, that should be how it. That should. Yes.
Give me 343 Industries. I got this.
Honestly, this might be controversial.
Yeah.
I wish Halo was like Call of Duty in one aspect. I wish they had multiple developers and had a yearly release cycle.
No, I'm waiting for them to give Creative
you
Assembly and what are they called? Oh gosh, Certain Affinity. Give Certain Affinity and Creative Assembly rights. Sold.
You had me and you lost me.
Oh no.
Multiple developers, absolutely. Yearly release, no.
I'd
say like
that's fair.
Maybe not. Like, I am 100% on board with the idea of multiple developers, but look what's happening to Call of Duty now.
Bi-yearly.
Yes, that
would be great because
like 2 to 3 years.
That used to be how Halo was.
Yeah,
reason why I'm down for it is because Halo needs that extra time to get that extra content out, to get the extra background, the rest of the franchise taken care of. Call of Duty doesn't get to have the rest of the franchise because they're money hungry.
Yes.
C-Man is back. 2781 asking Halo Battle Royale, hot or not?
Not.
Not.
I have fun. I had fun with the one that was already made in Forge. I would not be mad about a official mode being released.
It was all right.
Hot. Because honestly, at this point, could use the attention.
Yes.
Yeah, positive or negative, because it'd be mostly negative.
Yeah,
I mean, people would try it.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be that negative.
But that's the thing. Streamers love to talk like it's going to be great, but if you look on anywhere on social media, it's toxic about it because the grand Halo community doesn't want it. Like, there's
the thing
plenty
is, but people would talk about it. That's what matters. People outside of the Halo bubble would talk about it.
That's why I was like, for positive or negative. I agree with you on that point. It would at least be talked about. And
so we're getting to the point with Halo where I just feel like the positives of it would outweigh the negatives. I'm not saying it's the golden ticket or anything like that, and it would save everything, but I feel like at this point, what even was Tatanka? Does anyone know?
Canceled. That's all I know. That's all I know. What we do know right now is that Halo, like 343 Industries, has just bought 2 more Xbox IP titles, which means there's 2 more launch windows that just got purchased by 343 Industries to launch 2 more games.
Nice.
And I saw people theorizing mobile,
which I don't understand why people are. Why? It's a fantastic idea.
See, at one point, I agree with you, but optics wise, it's never a good idea when your franchise is in turmoil to release a mobile game.
It shouldn't be the next game, but if it's like the next game is the next big thing and it does well or even doesn't do well, and then it's like Spartan Assault 3, like, cool. I mean, it was a fine piece of media. Like, people didn't like it with Halo 4, but that's just because like mobile gaming wasn't there.
They turned
yet.
Halo Online into a mobile game.
Dude, that'd be sick, actually. Although
I just
think
hate mobile games in general.
I know. I don't think you've played enough of the good ones.
For me, okay. For me, it's just they're all just they all just feel cheap and ploys to make you spend money and accidentally fat finger an ad and pay us $99 for some coins.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I say like the right games. You have to find the games that are made by companies that don't need the money. So like Marvel Snap, really cool card game, and it plays well. Spartan Runner, the guy doesn't ask for money.
Clash of Clans.
Clash of Clans actually is a pretty good example. You can play the game fully. Clash Royale is actually, I think, a better game.
I think it's just the industry is so like unmoderated.
They influence the current video game market.
Because mobile gaming is half of the mobile games are straight up scams. More than half. Almost every mobile game is a straight up scam.
You have to basically, the only way that you'll ever find the games that are really valuable, and you have to have a Google phone for it.
Like we're getting
Google
to the
Pass.
point where you get ads making fun of fake ads while being a fake ad.
Mm-hmm. You want me to
for a fake game?
I'm going to give a pro tip for those who want to get into mobile gaming proper.
Ebony the King's Return. It's about every single type of game you could see because every ad is a different game. If I have to see one
Shadow
more
Legends.
if I have to see one more ad with someone making some guy run and shoot barrels, and it's apparently every other game that's ever existed, I swear I've seen the same game be advertised as like 20 different games, and the game in the ad doesn't even exist.
Yep.
It's so annoying.
I'm going to give a pro tip for people who want to try out mobile gaming proper. If you have, it's unfortunately, I don't know if you can get Play Store on your Apple phone, but if you can, Play Store, Google Pass. It's a Play Pass. I think it's $2 a month, $4 max, and you get access to over 100 different paid mobile games. The paid games are different because they have to have people buy it first. They don't have to do the microtransactions. People are already buying it. Those games are interesting. They pack a lot of interesting different ways of making mobile games work. They're super interesting. That's my pro tip for the hour. Last two questions. Don Lays in Connor's Attic asks, best Batman and why? List: Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, George Clooney, Christian Bale, Robert Pattinson, of course, Kevin Conroy. Also, if you join the Discord, make sure you join the Dons and me in Connor's Attic and call Austin, all Father Austin. Don't. I am not Odin.
I'll say Kevin Conroy.
He is the Batman. It's Kevin Conroy. What?
I guess.
What do you mean you guess?
I guess.
What do you mean you guess? What's your answer?
I was going to say I like Christian Bale.
He's not the Batman.
No, he's not. But in my opinion, he's...
I like him.
Who is Dark Knight Batman?
That was Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
He was great.
I'm not wearing hockey pants.
Robert Pattinson also isn't bad, though.
No, he's fire.
He's great.
He's dope.
actually really, really
I'm
good.
excited to see him be an actual grown-up Batman.
Yeah. No, he's actually... I was pleasantly surprised. Here's the thing. There was a bad rep and concern just because he was Edward in Twilight.
He's got to work with that his entire career.
No, I know. That's really
sad.
At the end of the day, he's a very talented actor.
I think that's
why Ashton can't take him seriously as Batman because of it.
I had a hard
she was a
time.
fan of those movies.
I had a hard time at
growing
first.
up. Like, all she sees is like Edward being edgy.
I bet that's the reason why he did it. He wants to get past all of that because Twilight really did just do him dirty.
I think he did a really good job.
Yeah, no, he did. He was amazing.
He did fine as Edward. He did fine as Edward, and he did even better as Batman. He was fantastic.
I'm not wearing any hockey pants.
He's really good, and also the movie is beautiful. So it's
a great film.
I'm really excited to rewatch it.
Unfortunate the sequel got delayed.
Oh, it did?
Oh yeah.
When?
By like another year.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, you know what? Take your time, I guess. Rogue Ninja, Council of Patreon names, you're the last one. Would you guys support it if they actually made a Halo 2 Black Ops crossover? How would they?
Sure.
Why not?
Sure.
I don't know how that would work, but sure.
I guess.
Sure.
Go for it. I don't know. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you want to support us, patreon.com/JumperScape. Get yourself some nice little goodies and all of that. Join the Patreon Council of Names, I suppose. If you want to greenlight projects, ko-fi.com/JumperScape. Won't get anything out of that aside from new shows coming out from us, including Shane's show currently in production. And if you want to join the community, which you absolutely should, because we love having you guys join us, and you should be absolutely active. I see you guys joining all the time, but I don't get to really talk to you guys very much. If you're new in the Discord, I would love to say hi to you. I'm active every day. According to Connor, I have the most messages sent in the entire server.
By a long shot.
So let's chat. Let's have a good time. I love talking. So discord.gg/JumperScape. But that's about it. Next week, we're talking about Halo 5 Guardians. Whoa. Which will be fun. And I'm gonna try to replay the campaign before that episode so then I can be refreshed because I haven't played it in a while.
Could be a good Battle Dudes episode.
True.
We all played it.
Legendary or easy?
Easy. I want to have fun. I'm not playing that garbage on Legendary.
I guess I'll try and keep up with you guys.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you everybody so much for listening, and we'll see you guys next week with Halo 5.
The library was produced and published by JumperScape Audio. Funding was provided by our fantastic patrons on Patreon. If you enjoy the show and wish to support JumperScape's future projects or get some sweet benefits, join our Patreon at patreon.com/JumperScape or become part of this truly special community at discord.gg/JumperScape. Thank you for your listenership, and we hope you enjoyed.